And once again, a huge thank you to all of our financial supporters, our 87.8 survivors. All of your names are there on the screen. We cannot thank you all enough. Each of you are legends. Just thank you so, so much. But a big shout out in particular to our two podcast bosses, Kenny Baker, 23 months now, mate. Just don't know what we're doing right, but you keep coming back. And Cinnamon, 16 months. You're an absolute legend, mate. In fact, all of you are legends who help the shows go on each and every week. Thank you all for your support, even just by watching or listening. And we hope you enjoy this week's show. And welcome to episode 151 of 52 of the DayZ Podcast. We are joined once again by Dave after his little travels being a gypsy through all of England there, buddy. How are you?
I'm not bad at all. Hope everyone else is doing half decently.
Mate, yeah, you ended up in hospital or something. What happened there? You got ill or something while you were out and about?
Yeah, I took a little bit of a turn.
I thought you were going to say you took a little bit too much ecstasy or something like that, mate. Yeah, we all know you're a drug dealer and all the rest of it, but
lightning, was it? No, I took a little bit of nothing serious. A bit of fiddle around with the medication and whatnot, and I'm back to. It's a balancing act when you've got a lifelong condition. They've got to balance it every now and then, and you just have to take it with a pinch of salt.
We sometimes forget we're not quite as young as we used to be, don't we, mate?
Yeah. Until the camera comes on. Very quickly.
But we are here joined with one of the absolute legends of DayZ and DayZ Standalone. This guy was fucking massive back in the day. He had to take a break for family reasons, but he's back again and he's working on his own game, which we'll talk about more. But once again, a huge shout out to a friend of the show, someone who's been on before, someone I've done even a spotlight interview with, the one, the only Septic Falcon. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, you didn't have to do me up that much.
I do, mate. I do. You are an absolute legend. Like, for those who don't know, even Septic Falcon, his legacy is so big in this game. He was in some of the first ever Survivor games back in the day. He was the go-to man. Like everyone now, when a patch comes out, they all wait for Marks and Rav and all the rest of them to do their breakdown of it. Back in the day, Septic was your go-to guy for the status reports. Oh man, I miss those status reports, Septic. I do, and I miss your videos of them. Yeah, there's one that I still harp on about. That where you drop the bomb on fucking General Sam and called him Genital Warts or whatever his name is, and it was just absolute fucking gold, mate. I miss your videos because you pretty much, for those who just didn't want to read it, you provided a little bit of context, but mostly you just read it out and gave a bit of an explanation of what each status report was about. Do you miss doing those, mate?
Yeah, I do miss doing them. I mean, I'm kept busy these days, especially with the game dev stuff. But yeah, it's I was looking back at them the other day actually, and I think because we were looking at doing a bit more of a professional showcase style video for our game, and then I thought I used to do this stuff for like 10 years. So I went back and was looking at how I used to do my old videos, and that's how I made my last developer log video, was in the style of my old videos. So it's kind of going back to that with the devlogs I'm doing now. It's only our first proper one I've done in the style of how I used to do the stats report. So
because one of the things that I think has always been a gift for you, mate, is you've got one of those amazing voices for content creation. You really have a voice that is just nice to listen to, and when you explain stuff, you're one of those people. You're a bit like everyone knows I harp on about Vigilante Gamer. You listen to that guy talk and you feel smarter just for listening to him. You're the same to me, mate. I feel smarter.
I sound just like I know what I'm on about.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Fake it till you make it, bro. But no. You're an absolute god tier DayZ content creator and just all round content creator in my eyes, mate. You were even back in the day in the second ever DayZ related podcast. The first one was Ultracast with Renee and why am I? I'm old. I'm old. Super FT lol. And then there was another one that sadly didn't last too long. But Compass with my fellow Aussies, dude, Rage Bra and Uncooper, and yourself, which sadly didn't last too long. But I thoroughly enjoyed Compass. You had a pretty much a similar style to what we do, except you just didn't do it live, did you?
Did I do something with them?
Yeah, you were on the Compass podcast quite a few times, weren't you? Or am I just having
No, you're the only one for me.
Really? I was sure you'd been on the Compass podcast with those guys.
No.
Well,
I,
isn't this an embarrassing senior moment?
I've spoke to Coop a lot back in the day and that, but yeah, never went on another podcast.
If it wasn't for the amazing lighting here, I'm kind of blushing at the moment. And the worst part is we can't even check because they took the whole bloody channel down, the bastards.
There's no proof now. See, I didn't do it.
Yeah, no evidence.
Boomerzoid. Yeah, they're taking the piss out of me in fucking chat now for this. So, but yeah, mate, tell us about your current project.
So sorry to bore everybody that already knows the story, but yeah, we've started making a game. Which, for those that know, I've been looking at making a game for a good few years, and but I was solo and didn't know how to go about making one like on my own. So I was kind of very like overwhelmed by it all. And then White Rabbit, who's in the chat, I've known for many years, probably 10 years plus. And
why do I know that name? Where have I seen that before?
Oh, he's been around. He's been around a long time. He used to always watch me doing DayZ back in the day, and miscreated stuff when that was popular. Loads of things. So yeah, he contacted me and said, "Oh, I'm going to start. I've started a game company, and I'm going to start looking at making a game." So we got talking, and I made a showcase for the early idea of what the game was that they were going to be making. At the time, there's only two of them, himself and the programmer Danny. And we got talking, and I said, after the video, I said, "Well, I've been looking at making my own game. I've been learning Unreal Engine for the last few years, and but I didn't know how to go about it. I was on my own, and nobody else to help. And I thought that's too big a task, so I kind of just dropped it. And so he said, "Well, why don't you join us?" And I've been with them about 3 months now, something like that, 2.5 to 3 months. And with very similar ideas for what I was going to originally create. Slight differences in setting, but for the most part, very similar. We want to make a game that's a branch off of the survival genre in the extraction survival genre, the same as Escape from Tarkov, Hunt Showdown.
I don't really call EFT a survival game. I think it's more just an extraction PvP shooter game. It's not survival really at all, other than you heal. There's no need to eat or drink or anything like that, and I think to call that a survival game. So is this going to be more survival element focused?
So yeah, we've got a lot of inspiration from. We want to make a survival extraction game. For me personally, and the same as Rabid, we're gamers first. I know it's cliche, and I always say this when I say this. How much cliche you always hear developers say, "I'm a gamer first," and they're making a game, blah blah blah. You know, I'm a gamer, and I've always played survival games, so it's not like it's just a cliche thing. And we wanted to make a survival game that we wanted to play, and because we have families, we don't have 6 to 12 hours to play DayZ all day. So extraction survival is just shorter, sweeter, 40-minute matches. It's got a 30-minute day and a 15-minute night, dynamic weather throughout that session, that 40-minute session. You get your loot, you get out, and and repeat. And if you die, you lose all the loot. And we're making a pretty detailed map. Like not many. Well, you won't really see it as detailed as what we're going for. We're currently going through an optimization pass, so I got some things to show you as well today in engine that nobody else has seen. So we kind of got a few ideas we're floating around that we've had from the community. So it'd be good to get an impression from your podcast and see what people think of
So you
the
said
idea
it's
we're
on the
implementing.
Unreal Engine?
Yeah, Unreal Engine 5.2 we are playing with
Ooh.
everything that it has to offer, Nanite, Lumen, the whole 9 yards. And we're going to go semi-modern, set in the 90s, apocalyptic, but we've got our own lore, which we're going to utilize. And it'll make sense once you see it, but we're going folklore. So not necessarily monsters. There will be human AI, but there will be folklores based around the world. So if you go to, say, somewhere in Europe, like the Netherlands, you could use the folklore monster from that area. And the current map, though, is set in the US, so we're going to use the folklore tale monsters like werewolf and Wendigo that are based in the US. So it's going to be a bit different in that way. We want to, really pack as much of Unreal Engine 5.2 as we can into our project. So we're really playing with everything we possibly can, but we've also got to think of performance for everybody. So we're still, again, we're only like 3 months in or whatever it is, 3.5 months. So we're still very, very early in. We've already got the models for the Wendigo because we're extremely transparent and we are using Unreal Marketplace assets for the most part. We do have some custom assets from our recently acquired modeler and texturer, Faye, who's also in the chat. And he's done some amazing work, which I'll show you as well and point out what he's worked on. And we've just acquired as well a sound design engineer. So we should be able to get some awesome ambient sound effects, footsteps, the player sounds like in DayZ, where the backpack and guns rustle on your back when you're running.
I'll be honest, I haven't followed this too much. I was aware you were doing something, but I'm kind of surprised at the level of professionalism that he's talking about here, Dave. Sound engineers and starting on custom assets and all the rest of it.
Unreal Engine 5, and you're already at the point where you're getting sound engineers in. You're already developing custom assets, and you're only 3 months in.
Oh, you'll probably, if you haven't seen much, you'll probably be a bit more surprised when you actually see it.
Yeah,
which
no.
I can show you some exclusive stuff. I'm just getting the project started up. So
yep, I'll stop streaming the what I've got, and when you're ready, you can share your screen. But I've got the command popping up in the YouTube chat. I'll come and paste it over there for all of you Twitch viewers as well. But mate, I'm really quite genuinely surprised, and I can't wait to hear more.
I can see an awful lot of little sparks other people will find interesting here as well. I mean, little touches like using the folklore of the Wendigo. There's only one other game I know that's ever done, which I believe was Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Using actual folklore is not something that a lot of people actually do. They tend to go more mythical and just make it up. Whereas if you're using things people can relate to, you can relate to from other games as well. That's going to spark a lot of interest. And Unreal Engine 5 is something that a lot of those in the know have a lot of, let's say, interest in. A lot of looking from outside and looking in and really waiting for something quite special that's not AAA, not made by a massive.
Well, that's what we're trying to aim for. We think there's space in the survival extraction genre, especially leaning with a lot of inspiration from our survival games that we're fans of. So we're going to take, which you'll see as well when I'll show you, ideas from DayZ, Miscreated. We want to get that feeling from those games in our extraction game. I'll just load in here and show you just what we're at the moment. So we've got a couple of guns in. I'll just show you the AK and the pistol. We've got our scopes are just been implemented by our programmer, Danny. So we can scope in with our sniper scope, zoom in. And we have reload animations.
Oh, nice.
Weapon inspects for those that have nice skins and want to see their weapon. Ammo check. Have you got the audio as well? You should have the audio.
Yeah, the audio's coming through clear.
Of course, this is only about 3 months in, so you will probably notice a bug or two. There's an animation bug here that we need to look at when we switch to the pistol with the AK. It only does it with the AK, but we switch to the pistol. The camera does that. It knocks to the right a bit, but we need to sort that issue out. Bit of an iffy socket, I think. But yeah, we got our pistol in with all its own animations.
Is it a first person or third person?
It will be hardcore first person. There'll be no HUD on the screen.
I'm not surprised you would say that, mate. I remember you were quite a first person elitist back in the day. Nothing wrong with that. I am as well. Can't stand third person.
So if I go down here, you'll see some of the ideas we're taking from DayZ, Miscreated, etc. You'll be able to pick up loot. It'll be the loot's not in yet. We've not done the loot system, but there will be loot on the chairs and back seats and things like that. But we've also got openable boots, so we won't be able to use all of the vehicles and be able to find loot in the boot. So you'll be able to.
I gotta say, I did like that little animation then of all the dirt. So I'm guessing this is set like DayZ, sometime after whatever happened, and
it's based in the 90s, and but obviously it's a bit further on from the 90s. This is like the apocalypse started in the 90s kind of thing, and we're a bit further on, and we're mercenaries going into the ward-off zones that are the hotspots for the monsters, and we've got to kind of like cull them back.
Okay, so that's where your bit of hunt showdown sort of inspiration is. Yep.
So we're coming in, and if I run down the road here, you'll be able to see where we've put a new section of wall in and where there'll be an extraction point. You'll notice some FPS drops where we are loading the next section of the map in the editor. We're doing load sections at a time, so we'll stutter for a sec while it loads the next section.
Basically, he's going to end up scaring himself to death, Gobbo saying in chat. But yeah, Archie did ask, it's a zombie extraction shooter. Are you going to have zombies in it?
We'll probably will have zombies. We're not 100% sure if it will be zombies because it's used so much. We want to be a little bit different, so we're not 100% sure if we're going to use something else just yet. But from the start, when we start getting the monsters in, it'll probably be zombies. Will be what you'll see around until we find a better solution and be a bit different. So we've that son of a bitch.
So I'm guessing one of your team is on and just spawned one in on you.
Yeah, I knew he'd do something. I was showcasing the downtown when we first was finishing the hotels, and he put a werewolf in the hotel. So when I went in the room, a werewolf ran at me. Anyway, that's throwing me off now. If we carry on down here, we should find the wall. So yeah, the whole map is surrounded in this wall.
Yep.
Which is to keep the monsters in. There is monsters outside the wall in the lore, but inside the wall is the worst, and that's where we're sent in to reduce that count of monsters.
I'm being asked to tell you to show off the gas station you made.
Oh yeah, I'll go back to that. So this is one of the newer bits that's been added since our last dev stream. A lot more detail to be added around here, but you'll come to this point, and this will be where you can extract with all your loot. We need some cover placed around and things, so you're a bit safer and have a bit of a gunfight there if other players follow you.
The graphics are amazing. Like, obviously we're streaming in Discord, so we're not getting the full 4K 1080p even, but man, these new engines, Dave, are just so beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, they are absolutely gorgeous. They are, compared to what we've had and what we've been building on for so long, it's a complete game changer, absolute game changer. I'm surprised there isn't more being done with these engines right now, to be honest. why we're still sticking to a lot of the older engines. I mean, look at the quality of it. It's phenomenal.
Your mic, just so you know, mate, your mic quality is quite ordinary at the moment.
Yeah. Is that better by any chance?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Sorry, I had the wrong setting. I don't know this new technology.
So you made this yourself?
Oh, you son of a...
Oh.
What's that thing meant to be?
I should have known. I should have known.
Go check out the gas station.
I definitely haven't found something inside of it for you.
So this will be a feature in our game. You'll be a... No.
You can tame the monsters.
So yeah, that's you're going to kind of see that kind of thing running around in the world. That's what we're aiming for. So it'll be a lot creepier. See these glowing eyes at night. We've got a bit of a fog rolled in at the moment, if you've noticed that. We've got like corpses about this poor guy. So when you load in, you'll be able to go to these laptops which are dotted around the map. And these laptops will give you information to from previous. So this equipment will be left behind because there will be previous mercenaries or hunters that have come into this walled off area, this zone, and they've left information. So on this laptop might be peculiar sounds howling heard in the mountains, and it would be that dude, and he's over in that location. So you'd have to go and hunt for him, and it'd give you kind of hints where the boss would be. If you got closer, you'd hear the howls like we did over there.
Yep.
And you'd kind of know just through audio cues that that location is where it is. I'll show you the other. I was going to show you here, but it seems the foliage has respawned itself. But we had an idea from Lou in our Discord, the game Discord, about adding tendrils and kind of trying to loop it into the lore a bit and make it a bit more unique and stand out from other foliage-filled apocalyptic games. So we've got these tendrils in that are going to kind of branch out from certain locations and probably be worse off around like a boss location. And we're still thinking on how to tie it in with the lore proper, but that's kind of where we're going at the moment. So if you see these tendrils coming out, it's probably something interesting you want to look at, or dangerous. High risk, high reward as always.
Environmental notices on those players. Once you start to learn to recognize, you realise that's somewhere of interest or somewhere of privilege.
Yeah.
Something you mark on, and you go, hang on a minute, guys. Thrown out. I like that. I also have to say the ambience inside that gas station is amazing. The change from the lighting when you go in and the way it's glowing for people.
That howl is such a good howl to use because it is so eerie. The wolves in DayZ, maybe I've just gotten used to them, but that's an eerie howl. That's the hair standing up.
Yeah, once we've got our audio engineer working on the the audio, that'll have a bit more reverb. You'll have a bit of echo at a distance coming from the mountains, for instance, and it won't loop like that as well. It'll sound much more natural and immerse you into the game a lot more once the audio has been fixed. But if we come up here, this will be one potential boss location. So we've got a cave system here. I'm not sure I want to go down there in case he's left a trap, but yeah, there's a cave system down there. It's the sun's going down.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that's getting awfully dark.
So yeah, 30 minutes day, 50-minute night roughly, and a random weather event as well. We want to use weather to its maximum potential.
Yep.
So unlike other games where people complain, your rain's too loud, we can't hear footsteps, blah, blah, blah. Where our weather's going to change the gameplay totally. When it rains and there's a storm, you're not going to hear gunshots for thunder, and the rain's going to be pelting down, and you're not going to hear footsteps. It's going to be realistic.
That's one of the things I like. I did post the website link, Rag. I'll post it again in chat. that should pop up now for you. Yeah, the website, Patreon, Discord, the Twitter, all of it. They've got a Facebook page as well, but YouTube being YouTube, it only allows you X amount of characters. But yeah, the weather. Yeah, that's something that's you have to manage it quite well in any game. Like, look at DayZ. You know, it starts raining, it goes dark. Half the fucking server, if not more, 75% all log off. There has to be a reason, a benefit, to outweigh the negatives, to make people stay around. Because, yeah, weather, I love it. I love it when it rains and when it turns dark in DayZ, but a lot of people don't. So for a game like this, yeah, what's going to be the benefit of hanging around other than what you talked about? You know, it makes it a bit quieter. Is there going to be any negatives to it? Oh, that looks awesome.
Not
is that like a lootable person, or because that looks fairly fresh?
Not at the moment, but we will have a loot system where you'll be able to press F on them and it will do like a zip sound and like a zip.
Yep,
that was my zip impression. And a loot window will appear, and you'll have a backpack, and you'll be able to like drag loot in, like scraps and stuff like that to do crafting. There will be an out-of-world base, like a bunker, that you can upgrade in the interior of, put craft tables down, upgrade your craft table, craft in the craft table. You'll be able to walk around your bunker out on the main menu kind of thing. Be a separate kind of world instance. You'll be able to invite your friends in. This is what we've all got planned out. Invite your friends into your bunker, and then that's where you'll go into a match together if you want to squad up with a teammate or something and go into one of these raids. And then you'll spawn at one of the extraction locations. Will be an entry point at the start of a match, and then you'll go in and have to go find the boss or whatever. Oh, the rain's coming. And yeah, all this will be lootable. You'll have a backpack on you. And
with this out of map, basically separate
audio,
world,
Dave.
Oh, is it doing it again?
Yeah.
Oh, is that better?
A little bit.
How about if I do that? That's got to be better. Right, there we go. So with this out of like world team system, when you go into each extraction point, are you going to know who your team is?
Yeah, so we want to we don't want to hold hands too much, but we also, when you've got a teammate, we don't want it like Tarkov where you have no idea who your friend is and you shoot him in the face. So we're probably going to have we want something not intrusive, like, because you're not going to have anything on your inventory unless you open your bag on your screen. When we do an ammo check, like this animation, and you check the ammo, it will say like 10 rounds or whatever, or 5 rounds left. It's probably something like that. Anyway, we need to think of that and plan it out, because we want as little things on the HUD as possible. But for a teammate, probably like a faint white dot above the head, maybe we're thinking of. But we'll have to see how that kind of works out once we're in and playing.
I know a lot of people love it, but the hardcore in me, get fucking good, get good comms, or suffer the fucking consequences. That to me is one of the most enjoyable parts about hardcore servers, is that fog of war, the confusion of, you know, is that you over there, or is that another player, or, you know, yeah, maybe it may be something, you know, different modes, hardcore and standard, for those who want the fucking cock and ball torture that I love, and those who just want to have a more enjoyable casual experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might even be toggleable, like a toggleable identifier that you can just flick on and off, and probably have it off mostly for content creation purposes, immersion purposes, whatever. You can just turn it off if you want to, whenever you want, on a key press. Probably be the best solution. I'm
just genuinely stunned. This looks great already, mate. Like, compared to some of the dog shit games that we've seen released over the years, this is actually really, really good looking, mate. And
like a proper game. It looks like a proper game. Essentially, it looks like a proper game that's been in development for 4 months.
How long have you been working on this?
Yeah, it's about 3 months now, I think. I've been with them close to 3 months. 2.5 to 3 months I've been with them.
Very, very impressive. I mean, if this came out on Steam, I mean, I don't know how much you've actually got filled, but if this came out on Steam and it didn't cost me a lot of money, and this is the result I got, I'd be quite pleased with my purchase.
Big question for you, mate. I can see you've got a Patreon. why did you go with Patreon and not something like Kickstarter?
It's something we discussed a lot, and we didn't really want to do a massive fundraiser, and there's a lot of scam things out there, which we've had to bloody deal with already. People in our comment sections and things that just are idiots, but you can't really blame them because there's so many scams about, and games that release shit. Even AAA games from known companies are releasing like dog shit.
Dead Matter.
So we had a big. We don't want to take like Dead Matter, for instance. They took 5 million, whatever it was, and they still haven't delivered anything.
And look at Star Citizen, mate.
Like that.
They're fucking they're $500 million or something now, and they're still in fucking early access apparently. Like, what the fuck, man? Yeah.
So we thought if we go Patreon, if people look at it, they can do. There's a couple of different tiers, 3 or 4, whatever it is, and you can pay a bit if you want, but you can not pay if you don't want. It's totally up to you whether you want to support. But we do really appreciate any support we get, and it goes towards paying for any assets we might need or anything like that, or tools. And because we're totally self-funded currently, we're kind of buying the assets off the marketplace. Again, going back to the transparency thing, is something we've said since the start. We're using assets off the store, but we do customize them to our liking and what we need for our game. So you won't see this house in another game. You'll see this house because this is on the marketplace and is quite used. The game's Rooted, for instance, that's floating about a lot these days.
Yep.
It uses these houses, but their houses won't look like ours. Our houses are totally furnished to us. Every item is placed by hand by me in these houses and positioned where I want it, and it's not copy pasted from, say, their demo level or whatever, which you'll be surprised how many people actually do that. So yeah, all of this stuff is placed by me. I make my own custom blueprint with this house, and then I place all the furniture in the blueprint, and then place the blueprint in the world, and then I've got my own custom house everywhere. So, and there's a couple of different houses. You've got the smaller house, the larger house, little post boxes for these cars. It's all interactable. So can't wait till our loot system and backpacks in, and our inventory system's in. Yeah, totally different house, bigger house, different furniture.
I'm blown away, mate. I really am. Like, you once again, yeah, I'm a big fan of yours, Septic. But once again, you've just shown that you're like an onion, mate. You're a many layered man.
Well, I've been learning. Well, I've played with game engines for at least 20 years. I played with Build Engine when Duke 3D came out in the 90s, mid 90s. I played with Hammer Engine Editor when Half-Life came out in 98. Original Unreal Engine, Unreal Engine 2, 3 a little bit. Played with 4 a hell of a lot, where I was learning to start. Oh shit! I scared the shit out of myself. I put that there. It's the flies on the corpse. Yeah, I'm just waiting for another thing to run at me or something. Yeah, it's I put a hell of a lot of work into learning blueprint coding and materials and world editing and creation and design and things like that, and then kind of didn't do it because I was on my own, like I said. And then I've picked it up again for the last 2-3 months, and it's kind of all flooded back into my head, and we've really enjoyed it. Fun always comes first for us. We're always having a laugh, but we're working as much as we possibly can on the game, and it's definitely a massive passion project. That we want to make a game that we want to play, and we're implementing all the features from games that we love that other people, like developers, maybe say are told from the community, but they never really put those features in that they're demanded, and we're going to put those features in to our game. At least try to put all of the features in. So, like dynamic weather system, it's not just thunderstorms. There will be snow as well, which is in the game. Snow could happen. It could have happened just then. And there's snow deformation. You can follow tracks of other players through the snow and things like that. So that's all a thing in this. We're adding at the moment a new blood system, which I'll show you down the road. We're not quite got the footprints in, but if you kill a player and step in his blood, you'll be able to trail bloody footprints across from his corpse, and those tracks will be able to be tracked and followed by other players. Yeah, so that's another one of those laptops that you'll be able to get like instructions or a previous log from another survivor that had been here before, saying some curious sounds were heard. and then these will you'll be have the zip sound again here and be able to loot, and it'll open up your backpack, drag stuff across. And if I go upstairs here, there's another little setup, like some soldiers were here. This is the checkpoint, the mill checkpoint in the residential area. So we got some ammunition and jerry cans and things about, and there's a couple of military beds and a military weapon crate, which will randomly spawn around the map with a weapon potentially. And this is where you'll go to find a nice weapon, and you'll be in this case, and you pick it up and hopefully get out with it and not die. Little details like shoes left behind.
So I've got to kind of ask, right? So this is going to be an MMO essentially.
It's 16 players maximum will be in a match, which is about right for this type of game. You'll be able to play solo, duo, trio, and 4-player with friends. So that'll, it'll minimize. There'll still be 16 players, but it'll be like, was it 3-4 teams of 4 or whatever, depending on, how many friends you got playing with you. But yeah, 16 players only, and then when you die in that match, you'll get back to the menu, and you'll go into another match, and it'll do the same again. But with our game, what we want to go for is the amount of detail, and not just going across the landscape. We want as much verticality, which you'll see soon, as anything else. So we want to be able to go up and down as much as you can go around.
Yep.
So we've got the mountains up there that I showed you just a brief look at the cave, but that goes even higher up into the Redwood Mountains. I'll show you.
How big is the map area?
So we're working with 1 kilometer square, which may sound tiny, but you see, I've walked around. Oh, I've not even showed you the supermarket. Jesus.
That's 1 kilometer squared that goes 1 kilometer up and down as well, though.
Yeah. But we are so densely packed with verticality. This whole residential we're having made at the moment by our modeler Faye. He is making a whole sewer system for us.
Yes, I was about to say that. Please do tunnels.
Yep. And it is going below the residential here. So I'll show you. Oh, there's little details as well, like at the back of this house. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. We put a swimming pool, so it's got murky water in there, and little details. And then the next one, I think it's the next one. It's got there's a kids pool over there.
I imagine it's going to be a very jump scare centric game.
Yeah, we want to go horror, but even more horror than like Hunt Showdown has gone. We want it to properly put the poops up here. Which, knowing me, you wouldn't think I'd want that, but I think that's their space for that kind of thing. Hunt Showdown's pretty much the only horror survival-y game there is like that. It's not really scary anymore. I've played it so much, but it was when you first started, and there was a bit of a learning curve, and we want to kind of have a learning curve as well. But so you'll eventually learn. We want like tools like flare guns, say. So you'll be able to fire a flare in the air, and it might scare away a Wendigo or something. Like,
how far are you going with the gun?
You won't know that. So we've got quite a few weapons. There's only 3 weapons in at the moment. We've got quite a few to put in. And not only world editing, I'm doing animations as well. So all these animations I implemented for the pistol with our programmer Danny. So we're getting all these animations in slowly, working them across, and Danny's been getting the scopes in and working, so we can zoom in, and then we're going to work towards our first build is going to have multiplayer in. So me and Rabbit will be able to run around and show you the multiplayer features inside of the game. Getting that flickering again. That's to do with the time of day.
So how are you going to handle the servers? I mean, obviously, if this game comes out and looks and behaves as good as it sounds on the tin, so to speak, you're going to have a massive influx of players. Are you going to host all of the servers yourself? Are you?
Well, we will probably see if a server provider we can partner with a server provider of some kind, and they can kind of load up a load of servers for us. And that's probably the way we'd probably go.
On their own server, or is it going to be strictly official servers only, so to speak?
It'll be official only, because otherwise you'll get cheaters and all that. We want to be in control, and we hate cheaters, so that's a big no-no. We don't want anybody to have power over the servers. It's going to be as much power is only to us as possible for like getting rid of cheaters and things. We're going to have anti-cheat and it's going to be locked down, and nobody's going to be able to, hopefully, exploit anything. But even
we all know the reality of that.
Games,
it's always a battle.
Yeah, we all know. There's always some knobhead out there that will make something and hack it or something like that and ruin it for everybody else because that's what they're like.
Breaks it. But you are going to try our best. You are going to have like the 4-player only servers, aren't you, where you can play with just 3 other people?
Oh no! It's all online. You'll load in with 4 friends, and you'll still be playing against other players up to 16 maximum. So it'll be you and 3 friends, plus there'll be 4 other enemy players, another 4 enemy players, all in their own teams of 4.
Okay, yeah.
Someone in chat has asked, is there going to be modding?
We probably won't allow modding.
What about map designs?
You have to be able to host your own server.
Yeah, so we can't give any power like that, otherwise we risk people getting the back end and creating exploits. So for this type of game, because it's more competitive, like Tarkov and things, you need to have it locked down. Not that Tarkov gives a shit, that's full of hackers, but we'll have it locked down, and hopefully nothing gets hacked or leaked or anything like that.
Now you've got the one map at the moment. Obviously plans for maybe like EFT with all the different maps you can go to with different objectives and.
Yeah, so we have. This is our first map, which is we've been working on solidly for the last 3 months or so, whatever it is. There's a lot of work gone into this, and we do, if the game's popular, and receives well when we get a prototype built, because we're still working towards the prototype to show what we can actually do, and which hopefully will get picked up by like a publisher or somebody will finance us, and we can go full on then, and just hit go full speed ahead and get it smashed out. Which is the goal, really. Ideally, somebody to fund us, publisher or something like that, and say, right, we love your game and what you're doing, and we can see you're very capable. We'd love to like publish this for you and do all the funding side of things. We'll just give you whatever you need, you get it made, kind of thing. That's what we'd love to have happen. But I think we're still a ways off of that yet. We need to get our first like showcase prototype done with multiplayer, the inventory system, AI working properly. Before that probably happens. Not that, saying that, the amount of times you see little games that go fucking viral and they've got hardly anything in them, and it's just literally a CGI video, not actual gameplay. They didn't really prove anything.
And the day before, the scam before, sorry.
Yeah, exactly, there you go. #1 wishlist game on Steam, not even a real game, but they got all the bloody attention and the partnerships with Nvidia, didn't they? So, I'm like actually playing this right now, it's real.
Yeah, and another game I did a spotlight on, Road to Vostok. So much more fleshed out and developed and everything like that. Quite a similar game, but without the monster side of it. But yeah, nowhere near the attention that.
Yeah, that
somehow
guy seems really nice as well. He deserves all the attention he can get, but it just doesn't happen. So the genuine people, it's always the dodgy ones that. Yeah, I don't know. It baffles me. But...
I suppose the dodgy ones push their
I suppose
in a lot seedier way than most of the reputable people will, which gets the attention of those because they promise what they can't deliver.
I know it's a lot to ask, but you're in a big building now. How much of the building is going to be able to be interacted with? Because it's one of the things that bugs me with DayZ is there's so many buildings you can't enter everything, and it frustrates me.
I'm glad you asked. So every building will be enterable. Every building. And not necessarily every room in every building, like this large building. I'll show you for an example just down here.
Ha! Look who's in chat. Look who's in chat. Road to Vostok.
Irony.
We were just talking about your game, mate, and how hard it is for legit developers who are working fucking hard themselves to get the attention of something like the day before. But yeah. So you were saying though, Septic. So like with this area in front of us, where
so with this area, this shop's shut down. It's got like a bent up shutter on it. We got to really think of performance as well, because we're going with so much detail.
Well, the reason I'm asking is we all know that Unreal Engine, all these new engines are insane with what they can and can't do. So I'm genuinely interested myself with my
So
monkey skills at this sort of stuff.
I can give you a rundown on Nanite. Isn't the be all and end all that we all originally thought, though it is amazing. It's not. Once you get into the nitty gritty with it, it's very circumstantial. You've got to use it in the right place. You can't just blah, 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 nanite everywhere. You're sorted. It doesn't work like that. So
sorry for the idiots like me. What's nanite?
So nanite is Unreal's new way of splitting meshes into their kind of it gets rid of LODs. So you have that tree up there.
Yep.
We'll have a lower quality LOD mesh from here than if I stood a foot from it. But with nanite, it keeps its detail, but it kind of lowers the triangles which the mesh is made out of, the polygons, but still manages to keep the detail, or what it appears to be anyway, at a distance without switching out to a lower quality LOD, which is the old way of doing it. So if you noticed in old games when a tree, you get further away, a tree had suddenly turned to a 2D billboard of a tree. Nanite doesn't do that. It keeps the original mesh, but just lowers the tries slightly as you get further and further away, keeping the detail though. So it doesn't look like it's changed because you're further away. It looks pretty much the same. And in theory, originally was that you wouldn't lose FPS either while keeping even more detail, which sounded like witchcraft to everybody. It does work, but not in all circumstances. It's not like a magic remedy for everything. Though we do use a lot of nanite currently, because those vines that I showed you that are about, that's going to be tied into the lore at some point through one of our community members giving us an awesome idea. Those are 300,000 polygons per vine. So those, I've enabled nanite on those, just so there's going to be so many of them about once we start replacing the foliage with the vines and things that it's if we didn't use nanite, you'd probably get about 2 FPS everywhere. So they are a lifesaver in that way.
A really good way to dumb it down is essentially it squashes it. Rather than replace it with something that is of a completely different lower quality, it takes the same thing and it squishes it down because it's smaller in your field of vision right now.
Kind of, yeah. It's like just reducing the triangles that it's made of slightly, but you won't notice it by the naked eye. It's making it a lower quality in a way, but different method and keeping it shape.
I've just got to interrupt you, guys. Sorry. That's actually one of the nicest things I've seen in chat. Road to Vostok. I have been listening since the start. Septic is a legend. I hope all the best for his project. So even, we were chatting before the show, and when I started the show, even he's aware of your legacy, Septic. That's going to make you feel pretty good, mate.
Which one's Road to Vostok in chat?
He's in the YouTube chat, mate. He's watching on the YouTube stream.
Oh, I didn't know you was on YouTube stream as well.
Yeah, I multi-stream, mate.
Which one up? God, look at you, professional. No, I love Vostok. I love Vostok. I'm all over it, and I can't wait.
I love the concept that he's got. The gateway to the you've got the lesser section, then the hardcore section with permadeath, and I love that. He's come up with something novel like you have with this as well. Already, like my mind's thinking you could do some really cool. I saw in chat you were talking about doing events, and you could do themed ones. Around. Finding certain colloquial or local legendary cryptoids and so on, and doing a special patch or a special update where you might have the Australian Yowie or something that's specific to Asia or something along those lines. You've got so much scope for what you could do. Boy, that sounds good.
Oh, do you like our glass?
You get damage from doing that?
No, you probably should get cuts. We haven't got a damage system. Well, there is a damage system in, but it's very basic. You'll see that when I go to the town. But yeah, we've got dynamic glass in. The material needs changing, really. It's got this like glowness to the crack, which it doesn't really need. It needs a sharper edge. But I think with this glass we've got, you can't change the material, if I remember what Rabbit said. so we might have to look for something else or modify it heavily ourselves. But we'll have to look into that. But yeah, it's fully interactable, dynamic, can run through it and stuff like that. But yeah, cuts and stuff. So if we're talking about damage, we'll go on to that. We'd probably want like a bleed effect put onto us if we run through glass and things like that. So you want to think about those motions. If you want to get away, do I want to run through those glass so I get a cut, or do I want to stare and fight and have that multiple choice? So with healing, we don't want to go all in like Tarkov and have a million bandages just to bandage our finger and take a splinter out. You don't know what to use. We want to keep it simple. So we're going to go along the Hunt Showdown route where you got like an syringe injector that will probably fill up 75 health, a bandage that will kind of do 50 health or something like that and stop bleeding, and then painkillers that will probably slowly regen your health over time. Something like that. That'll probably be to the extent we'll go with that. And then there'll be tools as well. You'll like throw a flare. You'll be able to fire a flare gun in the air to light up an area, scare a monster. Maybe could be a tactic, something like that. We've got all these ideas written down, and we've got professional like Trello type websites that we write to each other and what we're working on and ideas and things like that, and a proper like plan for the game. So we definitely know the direction we want to head. Though things are always subject to change. Like literally. Tentacles. The Tentacles were literally mentioned, I think, the day before yesterday in our Discord. And we've got them in because we thought that actually sounds like a cool idea and it is different to other games that are usually just this, overgrowth and apocalyptic, and they all look the same. So we need, and Lou, who said it, said it'll make us stand out because it'll be different. It'll be something, that the others don't do and give us a different look. So yeah, we're like I said, we still got to plan it in with the lore, but it's going to be kind of like the worst of where those vines are is where you'll find the boss kind of thing, is where the most threat is, or the reading for the anomaly or whatever's going on. It's very Lovecraftian in a way. So I think we need to do a bit of reading up and see where we could go with it in our game. And so I started to replacing the foliage we had there, which is that, and it's reappeared with the vines everywhere that's coming out and creeping around everywhere. And where you have a boss, it'll be a lot worse and bigger, so it'll be spread all over the place, and you'll kind of know, like I said earlier. I know that one looks a bit dodgy, doesn't it? I need to change that. Looks a bit like, so I want to back up on that one. Oh, sorry, I was inappropriate. Professional. Let's go this way.
I do like the fact that a lot of what is being suggested, in your Discord and in your community, is being implemented in the game.
Yeah, take it on board. That's awesome.
Yeah,
we love the community again with transparency, and we tell people that we are using stuff off the marketplace for the most part, for now at least. But we are heavily modifying it, and people can see that. The school hasn't been worked on really, other than adding the vines, but that's totally going to change at some point once we get around to it. Yeah, there's going to be a whole sewer system added down below that's custom made by Faye, and it'll probably be we'll have an entrance exit over there, probably behind the school, and then an entrance exit over behind the shop that I went into where the flies were flying around and the buzzing light in the shop. There'll be an entrance over there, and you'll be able to go all under the residential through the sewers, and it will all have the tentacle thingies as well under there, the overgrown like roots of whatever we decide it's going to be to do with the lore. And it's going to be a lot of detail. If I go this way though, because I want this road originally was going to be like the DayZ roadblock road where the cars are all down it, going off west out of the map from Cherno, and that's what I want to do here, like have loads of cars and you'll be able to loot all the cars and have that kind of DayZ experience. But in a 40-minute match, it's going to be weird, like that you're going to have so many places because it's so condensed, like compact, that you might not even see 99% of the map before your 40 minutes are over. You might spend your whole 40 minutes in that supermarket, looting cars, looting the supermarket, seeing the boss in the supermarket if he'd spawned there, having a gunfight, and then be like, Jesus, 40 minutes has gone, we got to get out of here. And you ain't in the residential or the school.
So what's going to be the incentive to make you want to leave, other than just a timer on the screen? Is there going to be some sort of environmental effect or something like that? Are you getting radiation or exposure to a toxic chemical or?
Yeah, we've not really thought about it much. The only thing I thought of would be a lockdown on the doors to get out, but then we're going to probably have different types of extraction, look an extraction at least. So you'd only get near it and then timer would count down, and then you'd extract if you didn't die in that time. But we've not really talked about what might get us if we don't get out. I don't think that's something we've not really spoke about. But that's not really a difficult thing. There's many things we could do, and we could even look into lore centric things for that, on what could be like a curse maybe, or something like that could fall on us. You know,
well, because you go on the mystical sort of route, you've got a lot more open than just, you know, things like viruses and radiation.
Maybe a curse could fall upon us, which sends us insane, and then we have a suicide emote and put our gun to our head and shoot if we're not out in time.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe
I've seen it in games before where you have that, you know, psychological aspect of too much time
it
in the
sends you
zone
insane if you're here too long.
Yeah, that would work really well, to be fair. I mean, you know, you spend too long in this environment surrounded by this, you know, insanity that you're not used to.
Yeah, especially because we've got that like Lovecraftian-esque kind of spin on it as well. It's like, and lore, the folklore type of thing. Could easily go that way. Write that down, somebody, quick. You heard it here first, so somebody else does it in their game. They're copying.
Brilliant copying of DMCA. No.
I've got to ask, I'm looking at the Patreon right now. You've got 3 tiers. Tier 1, for, this is in Australian dollars, $8.50 a month. Black Shuck. What does that mean?
That is a very good question. It is, oh yeah, by the way, Dev Team's based in Czech Republic.
Yep.
Those are Czech words. I don't know what they mean. Probably have to ask Ravid. I think it's to do with the lore of the game.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure he did tell me to look them up what they mean, so I knew, and I didn't.
Give me one sec. Let me
thanks
Google
for
this.
that. Getting me in trouble, ain't you? Look at this. Well, while you're looking that up, I'm just about to come to our basic AI that's in.
Oh, good lord.
So not only monsters, there will be human AI, which we're looking at kind of monks / cultists that want to release the monsters. So they're here to try and encourage monsters out and stop us trying to get rid of them. At the moment, they're just basic survivors with basic AI. Now, they will shoot at me, but if I can take a few out, we'll show you the new blood system that's still very much work in progress, just like everything else. I'll just pop a few in the head here.
Cool.
Oh, look at that.
I missed that. I was looking at what the black shuck is.
Excuse me while I climb over this fence.
Okay, that was a pretty cool climb animation.
Yeah, I'm going to say that animation was brilliant.
Okay, I didn't die. We're good. So downtown is our lowest FPS area. We are working on optimizations. You'll see the FPS count at the top right. It does dip quite a lot here. We are working on reducing shadows and shader complexity, and hopefully we'll double our FPS. But keeping in mind, editor usually is half the FPS of an actual build of the game. So we should up to double our FPS when we do build. But that's, yeah, this FPS is not ideal. I am on maximum settings as well, by the way, in the engine. So it's not just I'm low settings and struggling to run it kind of thing. Pop. Yeah, if I hurry to that guy, you'll see the blood system that we're working with. So it actually pours out of the body slowly, fills up.
Can you do a jump again? Someone's asked. They missed it as well in chat.
Oh, over the fence?
Over a fence, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
In fact, he flips back over as well to hold his hands as he goes back down instead of just hopping over the fence.
Oh, we got dynamic wetness as well. I see our weapons got wet in the rain, if you didn't notice that before.
Mm-hmm.
It will dry as well when the rain stops. It will slowly dry off. But yeah, we want footsteps as well, so you'll be able to run through the mud and the blood and get bloody footprints. And then if a player's looted that body, ran into PD here, you'll be able to follow it. Oh, he's gone in here, look, mate. Oh, let's get it.
When you shot someone before, I saw all those numbers coming up, which was obviously the damage you were doing with each hit.
Yeah, that's just for debug and testing. That won't be there
Okay,
in the actual
good.
game.
I just wanted to make sure, yeah, because that works in a game like Borderlands, where it's pretty cool to see those big numbers and all the rest of it, because it sort of is part of what the game is about. But yeah, I was just curious as to whether that was going to be something in the game or not. I'm glad it's not, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's something that belongs in Fortnite, but I can see why it's there for debugging purposes.
Yeah,
so you can make sure you're actually doing the proper damage with the weapon.
So no, he hasn't had a chance to show his footsteps in snow yet, Martin.
Oh yeah, I'll show you that. I'll have to restart the project and put snow on because it's just raining. I don't think we're going to get snow. We'll keep going. We might get snow.
I love the idea of tracking, mate. That is just so cool.
We've got this card here, which is our concept for key cards to access certain rooms. So we haven't got an inventory system in, but if I press F on this, okay, they've removed it. I can't press F on this anymore. Well, I'll just tell you. If I could have picked that up, this door is only accessible via that floppy disk, which is our temporary access card. And then I can come in and open this door, but I can't open it now. I'm spamming F. It won't let me open it because I need that card, but I think the pickup is broken for it. Unless I'm doing something wrong and Rabbit's going to tell me. Oh, I know what I've done wrong. One sec. I've broken the animations. One sec. Okay, I should be working now.
We are redoing the interaction. Sorry, Falcon. White Rabbit.
Cut that bit out. This isn't live, is it?
No, not live, mate. We'll edit this out.
Okay, yeah, it's still not working. It's not me then. I thought it was me, but it's not.
No, White Rabbit just said in chat we are redoing the interaction. Sorry, Falcon.
My God, can't believe it. But yeah, this is downtown anyway. We've got a lot of remodeling doing. We had all these buildings done, and Rabbit pretty much furnished all of them, and then decided that they were too low poly. So he's got an even higher poly, fully customizable building that we can totally change each time he puts one in. So it's even higher there, and you can have different shapes, and it's a lot more suitable for a game. Because the other building was kind of really mismatched with heights for the windows for shooting out of and being shot through from outside. So this building really suits what our needs as well. So, and then he's customized it with our own materials, I think, a little bit. Oh, we got Easter eggs as well. There's Kirk's, Gobbo Kirk. He's in the chat as well. Yep. There's his Easter egg because he was one of the first supporters in our Discord. So the Gobbos after him, the goblins.
Show off the elevator and zip lines.
Oh, yeah. You want to see them? And then there's Lukage's, my friend Lukage. He asked if there was a hot tub in the game, so we did. Hot tub Curioso.
Love it.
And it says a film by Lukage Arts below it. Yeah, we got working ladders. So you can
look at
go
that.
slowly, you can go.
The hands all seem to
you can slide
line
down.
up almost.
Yeah, it's still very
bit off there, but yeah.
Yeah, it's work in progress. We need to tighten it up a little bit. Same as the vaulting.
What about with the combat system? Like, one of the things that bugs me with DayZ, especially when it's been in games like, I remember Gears of War was one of the first games I ever saw it in. But being able to prop on against walls to stabilize and use a window ledge to put your gun on and things like that. Is that going to be something that you're looking at for the game? Because PvP is a big factor of it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll go that far into it. We'll obviously be able to crouch, and we got lean left and right in. Oh, we got a full-on thunderstorm coming. But yeah, I don't think we'll put like mounting onto walls and things like that.
Yep. I mean more like being able to go up against a wall and peek and around the corner better and.
No, I think it would just be, we don't want it too complex and things that's going to frustrate players, because I don't know about you, but whenever you have cover system, especially in an online tense environment, I always like lock onto a wall and lean, and then I'm like fumbling with the keys to get off the wall again. I'm kind of stuck, and it gets me killed a lot of times.
Yep.
So just having a lean that you can just creep around and move like that around the corner is usually the best solution for that. Here's our elevator though.
Each little game is 40 minutes, so you're not going to have a lot of time to be hugging up against walls and camping and leaning around. You're going to want to keep moving most of the time, aren't you?
Yeah, you don't want to be. You want to be aware as well. If you get lazy and start not paying attention, you're going to die.
Bipods will be in game. White Rabbit saying in chat.
Oh yeah, you have bipods. You'll be able to snipe. Oh, there's a sniper rifle going to be added at some point soon, and you'll have bipods. You'll be able to lay up on the mountains if you want. And if you're good enough aim, you'll be able to shoot somebody off that roof from the mountains. But yeah, it's a very long way.
With the vaulting over fences and so on, Bishop in chat is saying, is the climb a two-step move? It kind of looked like you needed an input to hang and then another to climb over. And I'll elaborate on that. Is it something that you'll be able to cancel if you're in the middle of going over and like, oh shit, there's someone there, you can back off of it? Or is it going to lock you into the vault?
So it probably would be, in an ideal world, something to be able to cancel like you can with other games that do it, like DayZ. I think you can hang on, can't you, and then jump back off if you have a peek over and it's too dangerous. That's probably something we would want to look at, that you'd be able to cancel a climb if you noticed there was a threat, so you didn't end up just jumping into the instant death. But this is like our first implementation of the vaulting system, so it's still a lot of work to be done. But that's definitely something.
3 months. You've only been going 3 months, so yeah, you're probably still quite some distance away from when you're ready to let people start testing it.
Oh yeah. We've got quite a ways off before we have like a testable multiplayer build for people to give us all the bug reports and feedback and things like that on gameplay. Here's the 7th floor. So we skipped a load of floors in the elevator because, like, going back to what we mentioned earlier about all rooms enterable, all buildings are enterable, but not all floors or rooms of big buildings, because we've got to still think of performance even with Nanite and Unreal Engine. We've still got to keep into consideration people's PCs of all varieties. So yeah, we've kind of cut out a lot of floors and just use but the elevator is kind of a thing from Misc. Is if you didn't know, Misc had an elevator they added in the tall skyscraper building in downtown. So this is kind of like an idea borrowed from there, which we loved. Misc. It's a shame that it went down last year. I think they ended active development and things. So bit of a bummer, but we can at least take some inspiration and let it live on in spirit in our game, I guess, in a way. So I'll go out to the construction site now, right next to the downtown area. We've got the crane here.
I love that weather audio.
Oh yeah, it's pretty perfect how it is right now.
Yeah, I don't say this very often, but I'm a little bit starstruck by this. This is very, very impressive.
So we discussed for ages a way of transportation, and I thought when we was talking about it, there's probably a good reason they don't do that in these smaller extraction survivor games. I think it'd be too overpowered if people did have one. It would totally break the gameplay loop. So we were trying to think of a different way of getting around a bit quicker, but not necessarily have a vehicle that just whiz around 5 minutes, you've done and you're out if you've got a car, and everybody else is like stuck because they didn't get the car. So we thought maybe hand gliders, but then we thought you're still going to be able to jump off these high buildings and fly halfway across the map instantly, and it's kind of not really fair for everybody else. So then we thought, what about just stationary zip lines? So zip lines is where we kind of ended up prototyping, and we got these zip lines in that are dotted around that you can kind of traverse quickly. So if you knew there was a gunfight going off in that building over there, which is totally enterable, same as this one, you can go into all the rooms, and there is a military checkpoint and laptop thingy up there as well. And then if you're like, oh, they're fighting over there, I'm going to join in and take all the loot and, finish them off, you can just dive off and quickly get into the action.
I like that, because even though you're getting into their PvP, anyone who's looking from the outside, wondering whether it's worth going into PvP, is going to see you zip line across there.
And then you've got, all these go up there as well. So it's not quite finished, I don't think, in there yet. It's all just stones.
You've got to show us the snow. You've got to show us the snow.
Okay, let me just... You're going to see behind the scenes now. Ignore those errors. We know what those errors are. So we're using Ultra Dynamic Sky, which is an amazing plugin for Unreal Engine. Those that don't know, that's what's doing our weather system and the audio and everything. And it's heavily modified by our programmer, Danny, to allow this snow to work the way it does. We have made some new materials since we've had this implemented, so you will notice that snow won't be landing on some roofs and things. We need to re-add the snow to that material because it's not been added just yet. So if you notice that, that's why. If I go down to snow,
Ooh.
and then if I press play, it should load us in with the snow. Just give it a second. It's got to load all the millions of assets. But yeah, it's by far the best weather system. There are others, but they're not quite. They don't quite do the things that Ultra Dynamic does. It does everything you need. It's not cheap, but it's well worth the money.
Okay, that is.
So
beautiful.
we're working.
Show us the footsteps. Show us the footsteps.
Okay, here you go.
Oh.
You twisted my arm. You didn't believe me, did you? You didn't believe me. Well, there they are.
That's so cool.
And the snow will dynamically fill in those footprints as well over, say, a minute's time period. So
yep,
if it's snowing heavily, they'll fill in pretty quick. But you'll still be able to track a player if you just run over it.
Run around in circles for 30 seconds to fool everyone who's tracking you.
Yeah.
Wait for it all to fill in.
If you just beeline straight for a hotel or something, they'd see your tracks and be like, "Oh look, footsteps! Somebody went in there."
I love that.
But it's not like
that.
really unfair. It will fill in, like the snow's actually filling that back in. Like snow actually would behave, so they will disappear eventually and fill back in with snow.
Well, when they're fresh, you know you're right on the back.
Yeah. So you'll know where they are. So you'll see these footprints, be like, it's quite a while ago. They could be anywhere now. But if they were fresh like that, you're like, yo, they are here, like right next to us.
I love it. It just adds an extra element to the gameplay, something you've got to be aware of. That is gold tier fucking stuff for me.
So we're playing with the snow on the weapon and hands as well. At the moment, we've got it a bit overpowered. It's covering the hands. But we want it so it dynamically kind of like lands on the hands and melts off a bit. But yeah, it's kind of broke at the minute where we've been playing with it. But we'll get the hang of it and hopefully figure it out.
Is the weather going to have effect on your player? Like, DayZ, obviously you get cold and you start shivering and so on. Is that going to be something that is going to affect you as a player? If you need to make sure you dress adequately.
We've not really thought. Yeah, we're not really thought that far into it. Probably like a sneeze or something you could get if it was snowing would probably be a cool little detail and like put you off your aim if you was using a scope or something. So if you did
noise giveaway or a shiver,
you'd have like a sneeze and you'd go and it'd jolt and you'd miss your shot kind of thing. That'd be pretty cool if it snowed or if it was heavy rain even, just so you got a bit of a chill.
Even the bit of fog from your breath, for those who are aware of him, the White Death used to eat snow so that his mouth was cold so he didn't blow out frost. A little cloud of frost that would give away his positions and that. In DayZ, the characters are always seen to be blowing out frost from their mouth and that. So, yeah, that would be something pretty cool. I'm genuinely stunned, mate. I really am. This is, like Bishop said in chat there, for 3 months, I was not expecting to see something of this caliber already. I know you said you're using a lot of existing assets and that, but for a pleb like me who's an absolute ITARD when it comes to anything tech-wise, I'm genuinely stunned, impressed, and in awe of what you and the team have achieved, mate. Congratulations to all of you.
We've worked really hard on it as much as we can, and it's all kind of, as much a proper project of love and passion than anything else, and something we really wanted to do for a while. So,
I mean, I've been getting kind of lost for words, to be honest. I'm in the same boat as you here, Boyd. I mean, as someone who kind of knows, a decent amount about all of this engine and how it works, this is impressive. to say the least. I mean, 3 months, really. No, I expected to see, a couple of buildings, a little bit of this. We've got a gun. I didn't expect any of this, and not this level of quality either. This is very impressive.
So as you saw, we had the day and night cycle. So
yep,
it's such a short space of time too, and without any massive financial backing or what's the word I'm looking for here? Any kind of big team or group behind it. You've done all this off your own backs. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of figuring things out ourselves and learning, as well as we were very knowledgeable of the engine. I think over the last 2-3 years that we've all been working on it. It's not like we've never had experience with the engine. It's helped that we know the engine. But then I've known quite a few because I've played with Infusion Engine as well, which Body probably knows a little bit, and learned that engine quite a bit. So it's all kind of like becomes second nature once you've done it for so much. And I've always been into it since I was a wee lad. I've been interested in game development and how they're made and things like that. It's always fascinated me. Hence working on like Build Engine with Duke 3D in the mid-90s, and Half-Life came out with a Hammer editor and working in that. All the way through I've worked with engines and things, so I kind of get always had a very basic understanding of them at the very least. And then we've just kind of smashed it recently with working on this. So we're very excited, and it's hard to not get too hyped and excite ourselves because
I am so fucking proud of you right now, Septic Falcon. I know that sounds weird, but I am so fucking proud of what you've achieved, mate. This is you and the guys should be so fucking proud of everything you've done.
Well, they are very hard workers, especially like Danny is just like our savior. If any of us have a problem, we usually go to Danny, and he's like, "Oh, you do this," and we're like, "Oh my god, if we didn't have him, he knows." He's so, I don't know how he knows so much, but he's like, I don't know. He's amazing.
Some people are just truly insane with what they know. I forever feel blessed because I'm a very average person. My only gift is I can talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles. And I seem to have a knack of being able to find people who are truly brilliant. And I've met so many people who have just provided so much inspiration to me. And rather than be jealous of how good others are and that I'm not good enough, I'm just glad I get to meet people like that, Septic, who are just so truly talented, from Match, Fubar Bundy, Dewan, Dab, the list goes on. The amount of people, it's an honor to be able to meet these people who are just so talented at what they do, isn't it, Septic?
Oh yeah. The people I've met over the years just have amazed me. And
Helkiana's another one. She's insane.
Oh yeah, she blows my mind. She's so knowledgeable on these things, and I'm so glad that I met her. And again, it all goes back to DayZ, and like I said, I've not played DayZ for over a year, but DayZ is, if it weren't for DayZ, I wouldn't know you guys, I wouldn't know Helkiana, I wouldn't know Rabid.
It's great to see that there are people who are genuinely talented and get recognized, unlike that bum dancer Jesus. Fuck knows how he ended up on the dev team. He's just...
Oh, what's he doing these days? Oh, is he on the dev team? No wonder the game's going downhill.
He's spitting trees on the fucking map or some shit, mate. I don't know.
Too many trees. No, delete the trees.
Putting shit in buckets and I don't know.
Did he not get the memo about too many trees in the forest?
and too much grass now. Apparently that's the other one. Too much grass in the fucking game. So yeah. This is beautiful, mate. This is one of the things. Like you said, this is a kilometre square map, and you've designed it so well that it genuinely feels like you're out in the middle of the forest now. But I know you were just in a major urban area before, so you've done a lot with such a small space.
Yeah, can we just pay attention that this is a kilometre, and we've been running around now for a decent amount of time. Yes, we've been looking at stuff and not really interacting with the PvP aspect of it, We've been running around looking at stuff. We've been running around for a while now on 1 kilometer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content in a very small area.
So this is the redwood biome, which we've not really touched yet, other than that it's a redwood biome. We've got to think about what we're going to place in this area. Maybe like a lumber yard, maybe something like that fit this kind of redwood biome. So it slightly changes as you get closer to the mountains at this end of the map. So over that way, when we built the game, you'll see the mountains, but because we're in engine and I'm streaming it section by section, you don't see it. But over there is the mountains with the redwoods going up onto the mountains. And this we've done about, I'd say we've worked on about 35% of the map so far, 30 to 35%. We've still got
that water. Is that a river?
Chunk. Oh yeah.
Would you look at that? I like the way you've taken the time. This is set quite some time after everything collapsed and the river's managed to eat its way and erode its way further down. So it's quite a deep river. That's a really nice touch.
Our bridges are broke, so we'll probably get another bridge at some point, because we're using the post-city pack, and he did an update a couple of weeks ago, and it's kind of broke some meshes, it looks like. And the bridge kind of broke. You see it's floating a bit up there. I don't know what he did, but we've had to like make our own materials and things because it just broke a lot of things.
You got DOJ to do some work, didn't you?
Yeah.
Is that who did it?
It looks like down to Jesus' work. Sorry, Jesus.
No, it's just the reason the quality's like this, Marson, is we're streaming in Discord. They do have a video up on the channel that we'll link to as well, which will show a bit better quality of the stuff. So I do apologize for that, but that's what we're stuck with the Discord stream. Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, on YouTube I have 4K. It pretty much shows most of what you'll get in some exclusives, like the gas station with the tendrils and the tentacle stuff is the roots and things, and the mall is the mall is in the video, I think, but the gas station and the big root thingies are not in the video. You got that as an exclusive, so you got the scoop. But yeah, it's 4K, and there's a couple of other videos as well showing previous things before the redwood was even added. I think the old videos. So, but yeah, this is the last location we've got on the map at the moment, which is the prison. Proper prison up here, right? Broken away from the mainland, like Alcatraz type of thing. So the river goes all the way around, and there is a land bridge. So you could either cross by the bridge. We set it up like inspiration again from DayZ, where communities would make the bridge going from mainland all the way to Prison Island.
Yep.
So I've kind of used that idea and made a bridge across on our terrain to
before
the
they
prison.
ruined it and made it basically a land bridge.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I've not played. So that's been added. I've not played since.
It's only a very short swim now. It's pretty much a land bridge all the way to Prison Island.
Yeah, but yeah, we got a land bridge as well, and you can even go further around and go around the back of the prison, because we want multiple choice to every scenario. We don't want just one entry point. You gotta have choice. So I'm still wondering
question in chat: in winter environment, will the river be frozen over, or?
That's a good question, actually.
White Rabbit just said will be frozen partially.
Oh, there you go then.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for it to be completely frozen because the water's flowing. So it'd take a lot more to freeze.
I'll err to you guys on that. I have no fucking idea. I live in Australia. Snow, what's that?
Yeah, you don't know what ice is, do you? A flowing river would take a lot lower temperature to freeze than groundwater.
So you can enter through there, you can go through that building, you come through the holes in the fence. Go be military loot in these tents. It's still, of course, like everything else, still being worked on. But you'll be able to go all the way around and find loot maybe in there. Go around into the showers here.
Ooh, hot tub. Soap on a rope.
Just soap there.
So it's not the most popular type. You've made the small touch of putting soap in the showers in the prison. I love it.
and then this will be a potential boss room. Well, it will be a boss room, but if the boss spawns here, so be able to kite the boss around like a werewolf or whatever it might be that spawns here, when to go, or take it out if that's what the target is on this when you've loaded into this map. And yeah, this is where you'll have room to run around and fight him. You'll be able to go up on these walkways here.
I've been wondering that myself, Tyson. Will there be drivable vehicles? Now, I know the map is quite small, but I was wondering, bicycles or quad bikes or something like that you could get going, and I don't know how viable they would be.
Well, but like I mentioned earlier, we talked about vehicles in an Extraction Survivor game because it's a 1 kilometer map and a 40-minute match time. It kind of would be unfair that some people might have a vehicle and do everything in 5 minutes, whereas everybody else would take like 40 minutes just to loot prison or 40 minutes to loot downtown.
I don't know. See, the thing I throw in is it's one of those risk versus reward things. When you're on foot, you're very quiet. Someone on a quad bike or even a dirt bike, those things are fucking loud. Everyone's going to know where you are. So it's the risk of, do I bother getting it up, or do I just stay on foot and be more super quiet? I think there's scope there. I don't know whether you should rule it out completely. People in chat, anyone watching, leave comments. I'm sure Septic and the team will probably look at the comments on this episode to see if there's any feedback from people who didn't watch the stream live. But let us know what you think. I think there is scope for potentially something like a push bike or whatever. It's not as fast, but while you're on it, pretty much you'd be only stuck to being able to use a pistol. You could easily get ambushed. And the more louder vehicles, they create a lot of fucking noise. Everyone's going to hear you coming.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to miss a freaking dirt bike coming. I mean, maybe you could have the dirt bikes really run down so they don't run that well. They misfire continuously. And make an awful
you've got to get a couple of parts
together
to get it going as well. Which, you see it there and it's like, okay, I could probably use that to, maybe do the prison and then get on that bike and hope I find a spark plug or something, and maybe have to find get it started and then zoom to the extraction zone. But everyone's going to know you're heading to the extraction zone. So done right, like Mad is saying in Twitch chat, their vehicles are too much OP. But yeah, like I said, if you did it right, there's a risk there.
I mean, it could be done. It's not impossible. It could be done, especially in Unreal Engine. You can make it happen, but we'd probably be adjusting the stamina so you'd get around a little bit quicker, because at the moment the stamina is very short drawn, so you run out of stamina within like 2 to 5 seconds or something like that. And we probably have it so it'll be a lot more reasonable for the map size to get around a bit quicker. But we're going to have all audio, so you'll start panting and you'll get worse and worse and worse till you're out of breath, and then you'll stop running. And that's where our audio engine is going to come in with that and make it all feel good and sound good, and going to have all the clothes rattling and the guns rattling like DayZ has and stuff like that. So it's but yeah, I think going back to vehicles, it's I think Rabbit joked that we might add a bicycle or something just for a joke, but even that, I think you're just gonna be memeing on a bike, and if you get shot, what's the point, kind of thing. It's like you're going in for the loot, and we got to really think of the economy and things like that. And, there's a lot of things to think about with the gameplay loop, and whether it's viable to have a vehicle to get about quick. And to me, I think in this kind of game, a normal survival game, if we went for a big, going to make a big open world survival game with a 100-kilometer square map, then I'd say we have vehicles, definitely. But being a kilometer, it's like it's just going to break the gameplay loop and economy of the game, because people are just going to be whizzing around grabbing all the good stuff when they know where it is and extracting and leaving the vehicle to extract, and it's just going to be a hell of a lot of that in this type of game, because it's all about getting all the good loot, hopefully high risk, high reward, getting in those areas, fighting the boss, killing the boss, getting all the money from the trophy that you took from the monster you were sent in to kill. And if people could just wazz around when they learn the the metas and things like that, if you want to call it that, or exploiting anything that they might find out, it's a weird thing, and I put a lot of thought into it, which a lot of people, they think, oh, put a car in, that's it, done. But they don't think of the gameplay and how it's going to affect everything. Every element of a game is going to change as soon as you add that one thing in. It changes everything.
Question for you with regards to, so the objective each time is obviously get loot and take out the assigned monster or creature or whatever it is. Is everyone who loads in going to be all going after the same creature, or are they going to be having different goals? So is it basically going to be funneling everyone together, or is it going to be purely by chance you may find yourself assigned the same target as someone else, or you may bump into another group that are going after a different target? Are you locked into going for the target assigned to you if it's multiple target creatures assigned to different squads and so on? How's that side of the game going to work?
So yeah, it will be probably one or two major targets. There'll be obviously other monsters that you'll earn XP through killing and things, but the main target will be funneling players to the end game together. So it's so you'll have those laptops, which if anybody's played Hunt and you know the gameplay loop of that, there's rifts in Hunt that you have to go and you can use your like dark sight, which is like a psychic ability to trace the rifts that are around the map, which are clues to where the bosses are. And then once you've found 3 of those, you can then locate the boss. But we're using the laptops as we're more modern, and those laptops will be setting pings off on your PDA that you'll be carrying. And then once you get close to a laptop, you'll obviously know because of the pinging, and or you might have coordinates to that laptop on your PDA or something like that, whichever way we decide to go with that, or both, maybe use coordinates and a ping. You'll get the laptop, you'll get that instruction, and each one might clue you in better to where it is, or mark maybe in your PDA closer like coordinate, like narrow down that coordinate, so it would be a wider range coordinate maybe grid. But if you get multiple laptops, it'd narrow that grid down to a smaller location. But oh, well, that's obvious, it's in the cave or it's in the school or supermarket or whatever, and then you'd know through finding multiple laptops or that kind of thing is where we're going. Oh my god, I can't see.
So essentially, each player would be able to.
Yeah, but there'll be multiple laptops all around, so you won't be going to the same laptop as somebody else necessarily. They'll be going. Somebody will spawn in over in the Redwood Forest, for instance, at that extract point, and then they'll be pointed to a cabin up in the Redwood that doesn't exist yet, but it will in the future. And there'll be a military checkpoint there with a laptop, and they'll scan that one. We'll spawn in, for instance, in our little squad, and we'll go to the hotel where that laptop is at the outside the elevator. And then that'll point us towards more closer to where that other player gets pointed to, and then eventually we'll end up at the same boss if they're still alive, because other players might come across them and other players might come across us, and then it's kind of like a kind of battle royale-ish but in reverse type of thing. Because
you're not funneled or handheld. You pick your own.
Yeah, you've got to actually put the effort in. You can't just be like, oh, it's over there. You've got to go and find these laptops and the coordinates, and we want to make it like more hardcore in the way with the coordinates, so you'd have to look at your PDA, your map, and then.
Are the laptops going to be in set locations, or is it going to be randomized?
So it'll probably be randomized which ones work for that particular session. You might get repeats, but yeah, it'll be randomized, so it will never be the same kind of thing in repeat sessions. You might eventually get the same laptop, but not for like 5 matches. You might be totally different. So, but to some degree, it will be. You will find the same laptop at some point. But yeah, we've got to add loads more around. We're going to have little cabins up in the mountains, and ideally an old rustic church, like US type old rustic church from like, that's still hanging on up in the mountains somewhere, maybe with the cultists hanging out, and there'll be, some cool things up there, ideas. But if I load out of this, I'll zoom in and zoom out and show you the map at least. So there's another extraction here on this bridge. I was just stood down here next to this river. And then there's another extraction, or you'll load in with your squad here. And then when you get to this car at this gate, you'll extract as well at the end of a match. But when you start, you'll be here, and you can either just jump off down into this water and go over that way if that's where you want to go and loot, or you run down this way, go into the downtown and loot. But you're with the verticality as much as it going all over the landscape. Our areas are going to be so much more densely packed than other games that you could spend the whole 40 minutes looting here if you wanted to, especially if a boss was here. You wouldn't leave this area, so you might have a whole match where you ain't even left your spawn area, and because you're going to have all these floors and rooms to enter. Not all of them, obviously. We're going to kind of split it up so some floors are blocked off and things like that because performance reasons and not loading up too many assets for people that can't run it and things like that. So hence we've got like empty floors, and then that's the 7th floor. That's all rooms are enterable on this floor, and that's where the crane is that I jumped through and ran across. And then we're just gonna like put a load of tarp and stuff like blocking this, so it's like wrecked and demolished and like derelict and things. I think we got some there actually, but it's not. Yeah, tarp's there, but the texture's missing. And then like fill it up with that, so it looks kind of like in disarray, and then you'll be able to access the roof. You'll be able to snipe from there to the roofs over the other side. We thought about counter sniping as well. So if somebody's on that roof, you'll be able to shoot them from that roof. If somebody's on that roof, you better shoot them from here. And if they're on that roof, they'll be able to shoot from there. So there's always a counter point to be shot from, because with DayZ, as well as other games, I hate when there's always a high point that you can't counter snipe. You can't fight them because they just peek over the top.
You just made me think back. Remember the classic old days of old Cherno?
Yeah.
And you had blue square, triple yellow apartments, and all the snipers battling, and that they've never recaptured that in the latest DayZ map. So I love that idea that you're thinking about that as well, because for those who love to snipe, that's a big part of it, is the whole counter sniper stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the first things we spoke about when we was getting this all planned out, was counter sniping. I said, I've had it so many times. We got to make sure we can counter snipe. So you can counter snipe from here. You can go across into this roof. There's multiple ways as well. You can go through the ladder. There's a hole in the wall somewhere. Oh, that's this side. There's a hole there. You can get through onto this roof. Yeah, there's loads of ways you can get up on top of this roof, and you can counter snipe back to there. There's zip lines, so you can quickly get down if somebody's sniping you from up there or whatever. You can zip line across, get out of there. There'll be a lot more cover in things like air conditioning units and things, boxes up on the roof like that one is set up. Yeah, so if I zoom out anyway, again. But yeah, like you might even only loot residential and things, and the school, that'll be 40 minutes. Each section is kind of, we're evenly spaced out as well. So if the boss is here, it's kind of an even run from there to there, there to there, there to there. It's all even, and the cave system as well, there to there, is all evenly spaced, and there's going to be the same result for any other locations we had. So if we had another one here, say, it's going to be positioned right, maybe there, so it's like same distance again, and you know, the same all the way around. So if I zoom out, it's 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer square. You can see where we've been running, all the way from shopping mall, all the way down the other extraction up there, the residential area, the school that we were in, downtown, construction, all the way up to prison, and the little coffee shop. And then there's the mountains, and there's the Redwood Mountains, and the Redwood biome. And yeah, the wall that goes all the way around, which keeps the worst of the threat in, the monsters, which we're then going in through these big doors, security doors, to eradicate it. And then, you know what, I quite like that go psycho if you're not out in time. I quite like that idea, yeah. We'll have to make sure to write that down if Rabbit's not already written it down. But yeah, the mountains, you go up here and it's going to be totally different feel. But again, with the wall around, that gives us the potential with our lore to go anywhere and use any folklore. So our second map could be in Australia and use Australian folklore.
Yeah, I think White Rabbit said before that you've got plans for jungle, desert, everything like that, sandstorms, the different biomes, different climates.
We could use we could use Aboriginal folklore tales and things like that. The sky's the limit with how we've got.
I did have an idea, and this ties in with, you've got the idea of maybe you go crazy from being in there too long, but one of the most ultimate horror sort of themes that has stuck with me over all these years of all the movies I've watched was the second Alien franchise movie, Aliens.
Yeah.
Remember they had the little tracking device?
Yeah.
The idea I have is that the longer you're in there, the more cryptids start appearing. Based on the human activity at the time. And if you remember just the pure panic and fear that was in the actors in the movie when all the beeps started going off around them, when there was multiple aliens coming at them. And that could be something that, it gives you a little bit of a heads up that there's one in the area. Maybe it's not directional like that one was, but, just lets you know there's one. And then the more that are coming, the more beeps. So it's just an idea. It may be a frustrating, annoying noise for people, but that's just something that stuck in my head. And just seeing this and ways of keeping people moving in that, because it'd be something you choose to turn on, and then holy shit, there's a lot more beeping now. Turn it back off again, and that's another idea for you. But yeah, that thing in Aliens, it's always stuck in my head. They're everywhere, man.
Yeah, I suppose we could, because we go in that supernatural way, which again, Supernatural, the TV show, is an inspiration as well with that kind of thing.
Good show.
The creatures and stuff like that in that show. I think Rabid must be a big fan of that. So it's that's a definite inspiration. So there's probably going to be ideas taken from that big time as well.
Yep.
But yeah, it's we've got a long way to go. Like I said, we're only 3.5 months in, whatever it is.
Honestly, that's surprising to hear, because what I'm seeing is more fleshed out and developed than what I've seen from other games. And I don't want to throw too much shade, but look at Dead Matter. I think you guys have got a much more functional and working demo / prototype than nearly anything I saw of theirs.
Yeah, I mean, if we had somebody that was making our assets for us and animations and things like that, we might take quite a bit longer, because we'd have to wait on people making us the assets. That's where you get games in prototype phase where these buildings would just be white shells, because they're waiting for assets to be made. So that's why you see that in games that are being made. It would just be a white shell with a yellow texture on it, or a white texture on it, or untextured square or whatever. But because we're using the assets that we have from the marketplace that we've been buying with our own money, we can just put those straight in and not have to wait for people to make them. Though we do have Faye now, which is making our custom assets, which I'll fly over and show for you. He retextured the Tentacles for us, which we're going to start putting around and tie into the lore with a bit of a Lovecraftian twist. And he made these barrels and stuff like this wood pallet.
Yep.
And he's making the whole sewer system that's going to be underneath residential and that. He made these,
that. I'm excited to see that. I reckon will be creepy as fuck. Now, I know you're using Patreon, but obviously we've got to talk about the monetization aspect of it. Is this going to be a free-to-play game with a monetization method built into it, or is it going to be a you pay and then maybe DLCs down the line? Have you got any ideas on how you're going to be going with that?
So I think we want to aim for about a £20 price point. We don't want to go free to play, but we think £20 is about fair for what it is. We hope people enjoy it and get as much hours out of it as they can for the £20. We're probably going to be releasing on Epic first, because they're much more welcoming to Unreal Engine developers. You get a lot more perks that way. Especially at the moment where we're self-funded. If we did do like tests and things with our community through the Discord, because when tests are open, it's all going to be done through the game's Discord, so make sure you're in there. We will be letting people know when that time comes. It'll probably all get done through Epic, because we do get the licensing perks and things for free if we use Epic and Unreal Engine. So I love my Steam games, so eventually it will come to Steam, but Epic will be the start place for that. And it'll be a £20 price point. We are talking about skins and things like that. Whether we do the full-on battle pass or anything like that is yet to be really fully decided on. I've spent my fair share of dollars on skins myself, though I've stopped doing it as much these days.
I have no issue with buying purely cosmetic skins, as long as it's not something that gives you a pay-to-win advantage. I say fucking go for it. And I was even going to suggest, with your Patreon, if you're able to do it, maybe set some, £250 or whatever price tags, whatever figure you guys come up with, to be able to suggest a monster. based on a certain law. Because as we're discovering lately, there's so much more amazing, rich history around the world that we're thankfully now in today's digital age, we're getting to find out more. Korean TV is just exploding with popularity, and we're finding out more about local folklore and local monsters and all the rest of it. So maybe make that something that people can buy a package, a supporter package tier where they get to nominate a. I know Dead Matter sort of used it, but if we just forget the fact that Dead Matter was handled badly, you guys seem to be a lot more fucking organized than that team was, and you're a much smaller team. So
and we are $5 million less.
yeah, yeah. So
Just a little bit.
I say don't be afraid to throw things out there. You guys have got something that I've got a lot more confidence in, saying that I love what I'm seeing, and I'm going to be looking at my finances and becoming a patron to you guys as well on behalf of the 87.8 community. Because
I really do appreciate
this is amazing. I'm a patron of Road to Vostok as well, because I love what he's doing in the survival genre. And stuff like this, particularly with someone who is DayZ royalty, in my opinion. The fact that you're branching out and doing your own thing, I couldn't be more proud of you and the team, mate. I'm blown away by how amazing this is. And my camera just died.
I was going to say, and boy, your camera just died. I do think the £20 price tag is a very fair price tag. That's a nice price tag. I'm happy to hear that. You look at the kind of quality of what we're seeing here, and upon release, I'd probably look and expect it to be £40-45. And at which point, I'm going to think it's only a kilometre. How much gameplay am I going to get out of that? Am I going to enjoy it? Is it worth that? 20 quid? 20 quid?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. You know what?
I've spent
up and take my money.
Yeah, I've spent 60, 70, $80 on a game, and they've only got 2 hours out of me, and it's been shit.
Yep.
So it's like 20 quid. You get a couple of hours out of it. You've already had your money's worth out of that. And
I've paid eight to £15 for a game. I've played with my mates for 2 hours, and I've never touched it again. It's not even installed anymore.
Now, just so everyone can get an idea of it, I'm just going to actually play the trailer video you've got. So that should come up in a higher quality so people can truly appreciate how beautiful what you guys have created is. So give me 1 second. Let me find your YouTube channel.
The more you fly around, the more tiny little touches I see, and I just keep seeing them. Even when you go back into places you've just been, there's even more. There's a the flies on the body there, the little sign on the back of the bench. Your ad here, where they didn't have an ad to put in there. Tiny little touches that you're going to notice, and the more you play, the more you're going to notice it. And even when you play the same area and over again, and you're a bit more confident about where you are, you're going to look a little bit more, and you're going to see more, and you're going to see more. This almost not environmental. It means the feel of the change when you go inside these buildings, and the way the light completely changes.
Look at this. Look at this.
Feel dim and dark.
This is so pretty, mate. I'm glad I made the decision to put the video up. This is a stunningly beautiful game. This new Unreal Engine and all the new engines and it's amazing what they can do.
It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Scary thing is, with the quality of the games that we're playing, or the majority of people are playing nowadays, you wouldn't think that there are small, unknown indie developers developing games like this, in this level of quality.
Oh God, look at that. And this is all on Septic Falcon's YouTube channel, folks. So you can go and look at all of this yourself. mate. That's beautiful.
How has that only got 400 and something views? That's insane. If I'd stumbled across that on YouTube, I would be screaming it from the rooftops. I'd be telling everybody. Literally, go and watch it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
You've gone quiet, Septic.
Oh, I was just flying around and looking.
Oh.
I'm getting
Yeah.
noticing things I need to change.
No, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome, mate. I think we're going to have to just rename this as a spotlight episode, Dave, because absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
I'll be honest, I think we both got really sucked in here, as I think probably most of the people watching did as well.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us expected this level of, not just quality, but attention to detail and skill. This is very, very impressive.
Oh yeah, the world design is a big part of it, and being able to create something that looks good but also realistic and believable at the same time. I think myself and Rabbit have got a very good eye for detail when that comes to, when it comes to that kind of thing. We know where, and playing all the games as well really helps. As much as I say it's cliche, I am a gamer first, and I've played games all my life for over 30 years. I kind of know placements of things and where they should be, and access points. Having multiple entry points. You don't want one choke point. You've got to have multiple to make enjoyable gameplay and make it engaging. And when it comes to the AI and the enemies and sound design as well, we've got our new sound designer who's really good with wires, which is what all the AAA games use. She's going to be doing an amazing job for us and getting all of our ambience and audio. For me, as you know, I love audio. I love good audio in a game.
Yep.
It's as much important as the visual side. And once it all comes in, and you're going to hear daytime tweeting birds and singing birds and things like that. You'll also hear the monsters growling and howling, but at nighttime you'll have the cicadas chirping, and in the morning and things like that, and it'll really bring the whole world to life. And you'll have all the audio and plus the character rattling when he's running with his clothing and weapons rattling and all that good stuff and panting, and it'll all come together. And then it'll totally change before your eyes once all that stuff starts coming in. And,
someone's just said in the Twitch chat, a sci-fi map could be a thing. Even you've left it open to almost anything you want to do, and that's smart.
If with these tentacles, it gives me a very Lovecraftian vibe, which even if we wanted to, you could even go to a different realm, something like that maybe. You never know what the future might bring, and like I said, anything is subject to change. And just this one thing off of what Lewis said in our game Discord, try tentacles like the War of the Worlds. And we didn't really want aliens. That's not really our thing. We're going more folklore and based off of stories that we grew up with listening to. But so we thought, instead of alien tentacles like World of Worlds, we'll go with more of a plant-like growth that's kind of spreading across, and tie that in with our lore. So that's what we've made quickly. Put together these tentacles that's going to spread, and it'll be worse where the boss is, like it is over here. And you see the corpse coming out at the school. He's grabbed the corpse, he's grabbed his wrists, and is pulling them through to possibly another dimension. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
That's a good thing for one of the things people hate the most is campers. The longer you spend in an area, the more likely it is that the tendrils are going to catch you and maybe start damaging you, or could tie you down or something along those lines. There's another idea.
We have thought of a mechanic. We've had it on our mind for pretty much almost since the start with regards to the bosses. Hunt Showdown has a big issue with boss campers. When they get the boss, they'll just camp in the building with shotguns. So say this is where our boss will be eventually, in the school, in the gym here, which is a big open area. School gym, you'll have like a Wendigo spawn in here or something, and that'll be your target, your main target at least. They'll kill the Wendigo or whatever, and then they'll just camp in this corner here. So any players that come in, bang, you're dead, and then they'll walk
the
out.
door and wait for them to walk through.
So what we want to do is, once you've killed that boss, because if you're in here, he's going to constantly be aggroed on you, and you're going to be running around trying to kill him, and we don't want it to be easy. If he gets a good few hits on you, you're going to be in trouble. So you want to be prepared as well as know how to handle him. Once he's down, you'll have to do a cutting animation. So we're going to incorporate DayZ's hunt mechanic kind of thing there. So you'll have to cut maybe a finger off or something like that to prove your kill when you extract. Once you've cut that finger off, that corpse that will start to decay. So the shortest time you take to extract, the more it's worth. The longer you camp, the least it's worth. And that's going to hopefully deter people from staying in here with the bounty and not getting out with the monster. They're going to want to just get it and go. Otherwise, they're not going to get that 150k drop. They get 10k if they stay in here for 20 minutes, or they might just die or whatever, whatever might happen. But that's one mechanic we thought of that will try and deter camping in the most important situation, which will be the one main target that everybody's going to want to take out, or the two main targets. Because
an idea for you as well is maybe depending on what part of the monster you get is the value as well. But say you had to get the brain or an internal organ or something like that, that's going to take you much longer to get. So the alternative, you've got to take that risk of more time spent trying to harvest the parts, and potentially, you've just probably been firing guns, made a lot of noise. So, do you just go for the quick, easy, get in, get out, or potentially go for the higher value items? Maybe you could get more than one item.
Yeah, the idea, do you take 10 seconds to quickly nab a thumb? Or do you take a few minutes to go
get
and
the
grab
heart
the brain?
or whatever?
Yeah, or the heart, knowing that everybody knows you're there, everybody knows you've been killing it, everybody's heard you. Do you take that risk? And again, if that rots, if that decays over time, are you going to take a 2 to 3 minute risk grabbing a heart and then sit there for 5 to 10 minutes for that heart to become worth no more than the finger was? When you could have just
I'm not sure if we'd go too deep into it. It definitely will be a case of testing and taking on all those ideas. But I'm thinking we might, because it might be a case of if you kill a vampire, it turns to dust and disappears. It might be a case of we need to say chop a hand off and then put it into a special container on our hip or in a special slot in our backpack or something that's going to protect it until we're out and keep it alive. Maybe something like that. And the rest of the corpse will just puff away into dust or smoke or whatever.
Basically has a time limit on it.
Yeah, so we've got to get out and sell it so they can do tests on it, and to try and eradicate the disease and the growth that's here that's causing the monsters to break through, kind of thing. And the more I'm saying about this and that, it's very Stranger Things, isn't it? I've just thought, and that's not intentional, but it's very Stranger Things.
Yeah, it has that little vibe. But then you've gone for this odd vibe where it's and I say odd, but I really like it. You've gone for this vibe where you're following folklore, you're following what is essentially not tales, myths. So you're kind of open to be able to push into that a little bit. You're kind of open to be able to have, they're trying to eradicate them, and they've created storage units to try and grab pieces of them so they can research them and realize what they are and try to defeat them.
I was just watching Pacific Rim last night, and that's kind of what gave me the inspiration for that suggestion. They harvest the different parts and all the rest of it, and it could be different missions you get from. I imagine there's going to be people assigning you these missions to go in and defeat certain creature, and I imagine you probably considered something like with the EFT system with the different traders and so on. So you could have different, someone wants this part, someone wants a different part, and
different dealers in monster anatomy or something like that, and get them what they want, and they're going to buy it off you. If you get them a Wendigo penis or something, that's
for virality.
Big money. That's the big money right there.
Yeah. Anything else you want to showcase to us, mate?
I think that's pretty much everything, unless I'm forgetting, which I usually do. But yeah, we want to go maximum detail. As you can see, the ground clutter and everything is maximum detail. You shouldn't see many, if any, at all, harsh lines between transitions. It'll all be overflowing detail everywhere. And just detail everywhere, using as much of Unreal 5.2 as we can, and a lot of learning as we go on with these new features. There's a lot of new features we haven't tried out yet, and we will be coming to those down the line when a mechanic might need it. But yeah, there's there's loads of little details you haven't seen, but like garages, there's garages with tools in and things. And
Road to Vostok's jumping off. All the best, and please go check out Road to Vostok as well. He's got one of the best Patreons I've ever been in that he's always releasing updates, folks. So if you do like what he's doing with the Road to Vostok game, you can't do much worse than supporting him, because we talked Septic about some of the less honorable developers out there. One thing that I can definitely say about Road to Vostok is he is keeping us highly updated, and any other game devs out there would do well to have a look at his model, because communication is key. And yeah, another amazing project. Job. Similar, but quite different to this model. So definitely worth checking out, because his is a single player game is primarily the biggest difference. Which I love the idea of. Everyone seems to be going crazy for MMOs, which is great. There's nothing better than taking on a person. But sometimes, like you said, Septic, sometimes you just want to be able to just jump on and jump off whenever you feel like it.
Yeah. Smaller sessions are more viable for me these days. I get on. I still stream, but I get on like 2 hours in the evening.
Yeah,
and that's about all I squeeze in. Especially now with the working on the game and things, we're doing this more than anything else, and I get on for 2-3 hours maybe.
Got to make sure you put more Easter eggs in as well, mate.
Oh, we got Easter eggs. Do you want to see one?
No. I like finding them.
You want to see one? Okay,
give us one.
I'll leave the Easter eggs.
Give us one.
I'll give you one Easter egg. I'll give you one Easter egg.
Please tell me it's not just shit in a bucket.
Oh, that's gruesome.
Love it.
That's great.
Do you know what it is?
A chainsaw in a hand, so I'm guessing something from Saw.
No. Oh no. I chose the wrong one. It's Evil Dead.
Ah, yep.
Where he chops his hand off with a chainsaw.
Love it.
So yeah, we're gonna. There's quite a few, but we want players to find most. But yeah, it's I want to add different ones that you see in other games as well. So we've got prisons, so there's loads of potential for prison Easter eggs from movies. And
see, I've got a great idea for a biome for you. The biome is Mount Everest, and the mega boss is Dean Hall, zombie at the top.
Oh yeah, on the top. Yep.
Yeah. We love you, Dean. That's a joke. But yeah. Oh mate, there's so much potential, and yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck with this. If you've got a few spare quid laying around, there'd be worse things you could do than chuck it these guys' way to help them with making what is fucking a solid looking game so far, Dave.
Yeah, I'm truly impressed. I didn't expect this. I'm not gonna lie. I expected something that was pretty polished and slightly small. I didn't expect this attention to detail and this kind of result at this stage of development.
Yeah,
this is potentially going to be very, very good.
Well, we're hoping so. We're gonna try our damn best to deliver. We're not gonna go half-assed on anything. That's probably our biggest flaw is that we put too much effort in, and then we go to other games. We're like, you know what? And me and Rabbit are quite often when we play together saying we shouldn't put so much effort into this area because look at this game. It doesn't care. Why are we putting so much effort in? They're doing it. Why aren't we doing it like that? Like, yeah, but we got to do it better. We got to do it better. So
I saw a comment the other day. I can't remember where I saw it or who wrote it, but honestly, I think quality is so important. I am so jaded with fucking games these days. I see people going crazy over Diablo, the new one coming out. It's like, I ain't gonna fucking trust them. I am not trusting Blizzard. I am not trusting Activision. I am not trusting EA. I am not trusting any of these AAA devs. Everything I'm seeing that is inspiring me to still be passionate about gaming is generally coming from people like yourselves, from Road to Vostok, from indie people who remember, like you've said it a few times, and I know you think it sounds cheesy, but I don't think it does. I think to those of us who are gamers, it is so inspiring to hear people, like when I spoke to, I've forgotten his name, the guy from the DayZ movie project, and he was talking in gamer terms. And I said to him, you have no idea how reassuring that is to us as just players, gamers, whatever. We're so sick of these fucking companies coming in and just releasing half-ass shitty fucking content designed to rake in fucking through freemium, pay to win, whatever models. I say, obviously, don't go too crazy. You don't want to obsess over every single small detail. But this is what's going to set you guys apart from these lazy ass motherfuckers who are just in it to. Obviously, you guys, you've got families. You've got to pay for the lights to turn on every day when you get home and wake up in the morning. But you understand that there's, the key to success is going to be creating something that people enjoy and feel passionate about. Which those big AAA dev companies, for the most part, have lost us. The future is with small things like this to keep people passionate. There'll always be the Sims who'll buy the latest Call of Duty or the latest Battlefield or whatever, but that time and time again they're letting us down.
Yeah, this is gamers making games at its heart, and that doesn't just scream to people when you see results like this. Then you know that it's actually gamers making the game, not paid developers who have no interest in playing the damn game in the first place, have no interest in playing anything similar. They just are doing it for the paycheck. Where this is clearly the complete opposite. This is a passion project. People's heart and soul are being poured into this, and it shows.
I really appreciate it. I don't know. It's too much praise. I appreciate it. Yeah, we put a lot of work in it the last 3 months.
It shows. It shows,
does,
mate. It really does.
I really do appreciate the kind words. We all do. They're an amazing team. I couldn't imagine a better little team to work with on this. So,
if you're looking for someone to do a soundtrack, maybe reach out to Bubson, the guy who did the Namol soundtrack.
Oh, he contacted me.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know, as soon as he said, "Oh, excuse me, I see you're doing a little project. Would you like for me to do something?" And I said, "Fucking yes, mate."
Yes.
And the mouse soundtrack is what is half of the mouse. That's so immersive.
As you said, mate, audio is so important. The right music coming in at the right moment to heighten that that sense of, like, I'm getting goosebumps and that just thinking about it now. The music and the audio around you is so important to creating the atmosphere. So that's actually makes me quite glad to know that you guys are in talks with him.
Yeah, I think that's another exclusive as well for you. I don't think I've said that anywhere else. I don't think publicly.
No, so, that's awesome.
Yeah, he contacted me after our first dev video went live, and he said if you need soundtrack, he's busy for like a year or something, but then he's all over it. So
yep, brilliant. I'm impressed, mate. I'm impressed. So
I said, hell yeah, we want you. So.
Yeah. Any other questions, Dave?
Honestly, no. I'm sat here slightly blown away. To be honest, this is looking so good, and for an independent tiny build from a tiny dev company that's come out of nowhere, this is what we want to see in the gaming community. This is what we want to see.
Yep. Get behind it, folks. The Patreon. I'll share all the links again. If you've got a few bucks that you can spare, there's the Patreon details, folks. Consider signing up and join the Discord if you've got ideas. Share them with them.
We are all ears.
Yeah, brilliant. Septic, thank you so much, mate. I suppose we should talk about some DayZ stuff now, because this is an episode of the DayZ podcast. Septic, when was the last time you played?
Oh, it's like, oh god, beginning of last year probably.
Do you know they brought the crossbow back?
Yeah. I have been like peeking in on posts from people and stuff and seeing what's been added each time.
Yep.
I've probably missed a few things, but yeah, I did see the crossbow was added back.
I'm happy. And I said last week, but one of the things that made me very happy, Septic, was the way they incorporated another one of the big names of DayZ. Admittedly, he's more of a latecomer than yourself, but the way they incorporated Toprek so much into that patch, I thought that was just a really smart move from a dev side of things, because he's one of the most universally popular DayZ content creators out there. He's got a great, he's a fantastic PvPer. He's got a great sense of humor, and that video DayZ is trash is literally one of the most iconic DayZ videos. The title is a troll in itself. You know, DayZ is trash, but it's just because he's hiding in a trash pile shooting people with crossbows. And then they incorporated that so heavily from the Easter egg that they released with the crossbow that didn't look like a fucking crossbow to 90% of us, but Lad was sure it was, and Lad was right. And yeah, the way they did that was really clever marketing, wasn't it, Septic?
Oh yeah, definitely. Some people are super clever on thinking of these things.
Yeah. But overall, the patch seems to have been received quite well, Dave, for the most part. You know, a few people, the usual butt hurts about fix cars and fix, you know, what about Xbox and PlayStation and all the rest of it. But the armor has gone down well. I like the wallpaper they released as well. Just, it was a nice touch.
Yeah, all in all, the release went quite well, and not as much broke as we thought it did, to be fair. We thought a lot more was going to break than actually broke, to be fair.
Yeah.
A lot of it didn't break, and a lot of it was very easy to fix when it did break. Some did go a little bit south and take a little bit longer to fix than others, which, you know, it's a major update. It's changed a lot of things. We kind of expected that. I think after the update, though, the modding scene got a little bit strange this last couple of weeks. It was almost like a meltdown of modders for a short period of time.
Some weird shit was happening though, like what happened to War Dog, with his mods just getting deleted basically, and that did you hear about that, Septic?
No, that's news.
It's happened to a few people where the latest I heard was Steam reached out and said they're wondering if it's something to do with DayZ itself, because it doesn't happen to them with other games that they claim. But a number of modders have just had their mods deleted basically from the workshop. And sometimes it's been quite important mods. I think it happened to V++, admin tools, was it, Dave?
I'm not sure about V++. I know they had some problems, but I don't think their mod disappeared. War Dog's dog tags vanished while he was actually live streaming in a Discord at the time. So he was live streaming while he was playing around with another mod in a Discord. And at that time, his dog tag mod, which had, I think, 1-point-something million subscribers on it, suddenly just disappeared from the workshop. Now, at first, everyone thought it's a bug. And he reached out to Valve, Steam basically, and they came back and went, "Oh no, you deleted it." And he basically sat there and went, "Not only did I not delete it, but I was live streaming doing something else at the same time. I couldn't have deleted that mod in any way, shape, or form." I mean, eventually they put it back without all its subs and whatnot, so all its stats had gone. And then it started to come out that it wasn't just War Dog's dog tags. Other mods were doing it as well. I myself had one of my mods just gone. I mean, it wasn't a big mod or a major popular mod, but it just vanished. It was gone. No trace of it at all. Even the workshop ID didn't exist. The key was useless. Contacting team support, they said the same thing to me. You've deleted it. I haven't deleted it. I haven't been anywhere near it. And it seemed it spread to quite a few different people, and everyone just wanted to point the finger at everyone else. Steam pointed the finger at the user pointed the finger at Steam. Nobody seemed to have any explanation, and then the only thing they said is, "This hasn't happened with other games. We're assuming it's a problem with DayZ." but it didn't really make any sense. We started to get a few modders quit the community. We know about Sarge, for example. And a few of us were worried that maybe this had happened to Sarge and that's why he'd quit. Maybe he hadn't quit, and pulled his mods down. Maybe they'd been removed. And he just said, you know what, I've had enough. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But we started to see a lot of other rather large modders say, look, you know what, I'm about to throw in the towel now. I've had enough. I can't deal with it anymore. We almost lost Dab. Dab at one point was ready to throw the towel in. He'd had enough. I'm not 100% sure what it was he'd had enough about, whether it was Steam being fucky or the weird response that the community had when the mods started disappearing and not working. But even he'd almost had enough. And I think people like Steam and Valve and Bohemia themselves need to realize that this whole workshop, this whole mod system that we've got is very, very fragile. And if it breaks, the majority of your player base is somehow tied into that. If it doesn't work, your player base
when modding is the backbone of DayZ, Septic, it's something they've really got to try to get to the bottom. I don't know if they're looking into it with Steam, but it's happened. I think it was Dab's editor got removed at one stage.
Yeah, Dab's editor went absolutely insane. I don't know if it was removed, but for some strange reason,
there's just some weird shit happening. We don't. It could be hackers. Who knows? I don't understand all of this sort of stuff. But it's pretty bad for a game like DayZ, isn't it, Septic? When the modding structure that is the backbone of the majority of people who play on PC play community servers, and when at any moment a mod can just be deleted like that, and they've got no idea how or why it happened. That's pretty fucking scary, isn't it, Septic?
Yeah, I agree. I think what Kirk says, it sounds like somebody's got access somewhere that they shouldn't have, and they're just randomly deleting things, or maybe people they don't like, or is somebody's got a bit salty at some point and removing people's work. I don't know. It's very strange, but yeah, it is. With the modding, I don't know if DayZ would be where it is today with the numbers if it weren't for modding.
No, wouldn't be.
The modding community have done an amazing job for DayZ, and I'm so glad that they did implement modding when they did. I think if they didn't, I don't think DayZ would still be being played, especially not to the degree it is right now.
I think it would probably still have its console community, because DayZ is, there's nothing really like DayZ on console that I'm aware of, such a big, massive, I know they've got Rust in that now and all the rest of it, but on PC, I think a lot of people would have moved on. But modding has kept it alive for sure.
Ironically, when all this happened, a lot of people did move on. And we all, even I have a terrible habit of doing this. We focus on the bigger names. We focus on the bigger people and the bigger mods, because they're the ones we mainly get the attention of. But if you look at the statistics, if you look at the amount of servers we had before that happened to the amount of servers we have now, that is a substantial drop in public community servers. A lot of people shut up shop. A lot of people, had a small player base that were building themselves up. They were getting decently sized, and 2 or 3 of their major mods just disappeared from the Steam Workshop. There was no way of replacing them. They were core to everything the server did. They waited a day or so, trying to get it fixed. They lost most of the player base. It still hadn't been fixed. And they went, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm paying all this money for the server and whatnot. Shut it down.
Plus, we're losing people to Armor 4 in Forger. They're moving on to the next big thing as well. So it is a very interesting time right now, Septic, in the DayZ modding community. We've still got some amazing people up and coming. Like we've got Bishop coming on later this month, and I discovered his realistic storage mod, and I was like, my God, that is a brilliant idea. And getting him on to showcase it, but we are in danger of losing a lot of very talented. Helkiana's gone. We lost her. How long ago would that have been, Septic?
Ooh, gotta be close to a year now.
Easily. And who else are we going to lose? Cabello's moved on to making maps for Enforger, and his battle map is beautiful.
She's making her own game now as well, anyway. So that's what she moved on to.
It's spread quite badly. I lost 2 of my staff team. 2 of my staff team gave up. They'd had enough. I mean, they still talk, they still assist. You know, they're still there. They're still helping the community because you know it's in the heart to do it. But as far as DayZ's concerned, they're not interested anymore. They're
Like
sick of trying to fix
even
the
look at
same
the
thing.
content creator sphere around at Septic Falcon. Look at how many disappeared from back in the golden age in the early moments. You know, Mr. Blackout, Jam Jar, Mr. Moon. We lost so many amazingly talented content creators, and a few of them are coming back now. But and a couple moves on to bigger and better things. You know, Sacriel would be one. But there's it's a funny old community around DayZ, isn't it, Septic?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, someone just said in chat, even Jacon left.
yeah, good. I like Jake on. He was
Same.
I hope he's doing. He went on to a bit of airsoft, didn't he? But then
Yep.
I don't think that worked out 100%. So,
But
yeah, I
he
do
tried to do a
miss him. He was,
silo. Tried to do a silo.
fucking Silo just changed up and fucking exploded,
Blew
didn't he?
up. Blew up
Like
massively.
5 million subscribers or something now.
I think he got hit with demonetization because guns are scary, even toy guns.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he was having some issues there a while back, which kind of blew my mind. Fucking airsoft, man, come on.
Yeah, he did really well.
Deadly Slob's another one who moved on to bigger and better things with EFT. But there's not a lot of the OGs left from back when, you know, Survivor games and all that was going on.
Yeah, no, KD Wolf, he's moved on as well. I think he still does streams, but it's a lot more casual now.
Loyal Patriot.
Yeah, Loyal Patriot's another one. Yeah, he was in Survivor games with me as well. I think, and KD. It was all of us in them back then. It was yeah. There's a lot of us. Jesus, you're bringing back some names I hadn't heard for a while.
That's what I do, mate. I live in the past, and
that's fucking best way to be these days.
Back in my day, the classic boomer fucking meme. But yeah, it's very, very bizarre though, and you know, that's why I mentioned it last week and I mentioned it again this week. I think it was so good that they did what they did with Taupe, and you know, involving him by proxy in the update and the Easter eggs around it, and that was such a smart move because community for a game like DayZ is everything. It keeps the game going, and if there's no community around it, then we're going to lose more and more modders because they're just going to not want to make stuff for a dead game. You know, it's far from dead. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. You know, someone said in chat there even before, who would have thought, you know, that DayZ would have the numbers it's got now. You know, back in you were still around during the terrible period there where we got down to around about 3,000 concurrent Septic. It was terrible, wasn't it?
Oh yes, we've seen some dark times. It's clawed itself back several times and seems to be at a pretty steady all-time high at the moment. But yeah, if they're starting having these issues with mods and things disappearing, I don't know how long that'll last if they don't sort it out.
And what Tyson just said in chat there is, you know, it might not be right, but it's definitely the perspective they give, Dave, is that it honestly, I've said this time and time again on the show, but Tyson said it in chat. The guys at BI mostly care about armor and see DayZ more as a cash cow, I think. And I understand why. Armor is their baby. DayZ was the upstart bloody mod that rescued Armor 2 from pretty much oblivion because it wasn't doing that great, was it, Septic? But the DayZ mod made that game explode. It was it went from pretty much nothing to the #1 game on Steam when DayZ mod was released.
I knew of Armor and I played Armor and I played Flashpoint, but it wasn't never in my household, in my family. It was never a big thing. We never played it. We never landed it. It was always the Quakes, the Dooms, it was the usual in Half-Life and all that. None of those were. They weren't like big games. It was like a very niche thing. Like when the Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon's first came about, it was like you had to really be into that side of that type of game, like the tactical, highly tactical, realistic type of shooter. Like I loved Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon, but Armor was like another level. Huge landscapes in vehicles and one-shot deaths from miles away by sniping AI and stuff like that. It was totally different ball game when it came out. So I think a lot of people didn't like it. It was very niche, a very niche game. But yeah, DayZ came out with Armor 2, and suddenly Bohemia was a household name. It was just insane for them, the DayZ mod, and that's when I think Flashpoint might have even been the last game I played of theirs, and I didn't play Armor after Flashpoint, and I didn't play Armor 2 until DayZ mod came out, and that's when I thought, you know what, I see some viral videos going out of it, and I'm going to grab this. I'm going to buy myself Armor 2, download the mod, and give it a bash, and that was it. I was hooked from day one. But I still remember my first day on DayZ mod. I was crawling on my belly through Electro, and I was too scared to stand up until I realized if you just fucking ran, he was okay. Crawling on your belly was the worst thing to do, but I was so scared.
Yeah. I'm looking at
if you ran, the
Armor
AI
3 Steam chart right now, and it's got a very healthy all-time peak, but it's definitely behind the ball with DayZ standalone. Now, if we go to Armor 2,
it's almost stale. If you look at the way that it's always been sat right around 20 to 22,000. It's almost stale.
But again, with Armor 3, that is a lot of mods, King of the Hills and things like that keeps that ticking. I think big time.
Yeah, they were onto something with DayZ and allowing the license that they gave us and allowing us to mod in the way that we mod. And yes, it's become a little bit of a cash cow when it comes to new players buying the game, joining and buying the DLC. But there's not really much else they can make from it. They've given everything else to us for free. It's about time they started utilizing on that and realizing that the majority of their player base are either modders or people using mods. And that is the core of I mean, look at it. That is the core of the game right there. Even now, you're only 13,000 off your all-time high.
Well, the peak in the last 38 days was only 5,000 off.
Yeah.
It's them some good numbers still now.
For a game this old, coming up on 10 years. Yeah. We were shitting on it a little bit, but there's a reason why DayZ is so popular. And
well, the thing is, DayZ is one of the few games that Bohemia have where if you go on a completely new server tomorrow, you might see something you've never seen before. Whereas on pretty much every other game they've got, you're going to have seen almost everything that's there at least once. Whereas here, there's a good chance you're going to go on, you're going to see something you've never seen before and something that you went, I didn't think that could do that.
Oh yeah, I just see your comment. The mouse gone console. If the mouse came to console, if Bohemia bought the mouse, they would. Oh my god, they would sell so many.
Okay. Tinfoil hat. I need to get myself a tinfoil hat and just have it here so I can put it on whenever I have a conspiracy theory. 10-year anniversary. They released a Molsk official. That's my idea.
No, because the moment they do, they admit to everyone that it is possible to mod on console.
No. They just get it and
official,
make it all official. Incorporate everything from it into the official game. They could easily do that and release it as an official thing. But yeah,
I don't think
that's
Adam
my
would
conspiracy
let
theory.
his baby go though. They'd have to. It'd be a lot of money for Adam to let his baby go, I think.
No, and then it would have to be exclusive to PC as well. So it'd have to be owned by Bohemia for PC too.
No, it's got to be something that goes across all consoles, because I've said it time and time again, Septic, I do not understand why they have not released, why aren't they releasing one new map every year? I don't understand it. It's for me, the question I have, Septic, is do they not like money? Because if they released an official DLC, one a year, had a team working on it, it would easily fund itself. I have to imagine it would easily fund itself, because the console community would go crazy for an official DLC. PC, we've got so many fucking maps, I can't even name them all. console only have 2.
We're
Plus-
knocking out maps so quickly now on PC. It's hilarious. I know of like 15 different people that are making maps right now. The maps are coming out so thick and fast.
Yep.
Why don't they do like a community thing where, once every 3 or 6 months, a community map is chosen, it's turned into an official DLC and can be added to your console.
It's what I would
They
love to
would go
see,
mad for it.
Septic, is them working with the community and basically saying, we love what you've done. We would like to enter into basically like the community DLCs they do for Armor. Why can't they do that with DayZ, Septic?
Yeah,
What
I
do
think
you
that's
think?
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think Dave's right there. If like the really popular good map that's really well made, that deserves to be made official, should be a community map that people can play everywhere and make it like an official thing, but still in the hands of the community kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like like Kirk says, they do it for Ark. It's a community made map and it's good. They add it as a map for Ark and everybody gets to play it kind of thing. It's on console or PC.
I don't understand why they're so. I kind of do, because you've got to be careful. Brands these days are getting done for associating with the wrong people all the time. But at the end of the day, when it's just a map or something like that, provided there's not one that, what was that one that bloody had the Nazi imagery hidden in it or something like that, that's obviously a bit of a concern.
With the modder themselves, they take all of the files, they go over them themselves, they check everything themselves, they rebuild it themselves and release their own version.
Yeah.
That is, in essence, the same as, for example, Namalsk. It's not Namalsk. The PC version of Namalsk and the one that's on the workshop is different and is supported by the modder. The one that they've taken is, in essence, to all untrained eyes, Namalsk, but it's not. It's Bohemia's version of Namalsk. And the fact is, if they approached a lot of the community would give them it. They wouldn't even sell them it. Yeah, take it. Go on. Make it an official. Make it a big one. If anything, it's great promotion for them because, hey, I'm the one that made the original version of this. Bohemia's version is completely different. They're not associating with them.
And Sumrak better than any of us here, Septic, because they're talking about that in chat. I can see Jimmy the Gremlin saying, I could see Namalsk going official because it was made very lovingly by Sumrak. Sumrak's actually been quite vocal about it not ever going official, hasn't he, Septic?
Yeah, it's his project, and I was one of the first players when it came to Armor 2 and DayZ mod, and I've still got videos from 12 years ago playing the mouse DayZ mod, and loved it back then, and has fully supported him all the way through working it. As soon as we found out, I backed him on his funding pages and things like that, and bought the Namalsk soundtrack on record when Bubson released it. And it's just my favorite map from day one for DayZ mod and Armor 2. Yeah, and I got quite close with Adam over the years and became friends. I've known him for a long time, and I like I said, I think it's very close to him. I don't think he'd let his baby go. He's put a lot of love and passion into that, and it's definitely like our game. Like we said, it's a passion project for him. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
I think with the right coercion, he could be tempted, because I personally couldn't think of anything greater than knowing that my creation is now going to be shared with the console community. Me personally. So, if it was done right, and if anyone could do it, it's surely got to be Sumrak, the lead dev of the game. But I would love to see that as a Christmas 10-year anniversary present to the DayZ community. Whether it was done free, if that's what Adam wanted, a free DLC done officially as a gift to everyone. I still argue Livonia should have been free. After all that time, because it was pretty much just a recycled Armor asset, not a custom made map. But I would be happy to pay, even though I've got it as a free mod, I'd be happy to pay $15 US or whatever, $20 US to get Namalsk and to continue funding. I love DayZ, and I'm happy to buy the any DLCs that come for it to support a game that it's taken up fucking nearly 10 years of my life, and more watching the Armor 2 DayZ mod. I never really got to play it, but I fucking watched a shitload of that from Survivor games.
The thing is, the developers take a lot of what is created in the modding world and then implement it in the game anyway. Now, they do that quite openly. A lot of what was created in the modding world early on is now a core part of the game. It's not come from the same mods, they've rebuilt them themselves. But instead of just nitpicking the bits that they like, that they personally like, why don't they integrate those bits from the community into the game and say they're done by the community? As far as the console world will be concerned, that is modding. Now you have servers that have some features that other servers don't, just like the PC does. You're not having to do the whole PBO thing, which is why places like Microsoft and PlayStation get all angry about it, because it's official, it's part of the game. And it would certainly integrate the community a lot more into the game on the console side than it is currently. And at the end of the day, that is what's keeping the PC side alive.
Yeah.
So why not integrate it in the console side?
It's going to be
I think that
interesting
might be
what
where
happens.
they're going
Sorry?
with Reforger, because Reforger they're having a console mod, so I think that's the direction they're going to go.
That's what I was about to say. I'm excited to see what happens there.
I think they
Septic.
might
Any ideas?
Might, again, if you want to put your tinfoil hat on, they might go full on all in with DayZ 2 on Armor 4 and Force Engine and Infusion Engine, and then do a load of maps, community stuff.
You're in the same. You're in the same tinfoil community as I am, mate. That's my theory. DayZ 2 is going to be a DLC for Armor 4. Makes sense to me business-wise. It's going to get them a lot of people buying Armor, and then
you're going to have Armor 4. You're going to have for at least a year or two, at least. Just for a business standpoint, they've got to make the money on Armor 4 and get people in and the community making mods and things like that. Once that's at its, you start seeing a dip, you're going to see DayZ 2. It won't be a mod or an add-on. It will be DayZ 2 using the full Infusion engine, and it will support cross-play mods just like Reforger does on console, PC, all in engine with their own marketplace.
They did kind of say it from the start, though, didn't they? That Armor 4 was a test bed. That it was an example.
No, in Forger is a test bed.
The Reforger is a test bed,
it's technically a demo for Armor 4.
Like a demo, yeah. Well, it does kind of suggest that, here's a demo of what we can do with the engine. Let's see what you're going to...
And they did recently find that bit of survival-related coding in the game. Something to do with thirst or hunger, was it? Or was it health? Or something that's not a normal Armor mechanic. So that adds a bit of fuel to the conspiracy theorists like myself, Septic, that is the direction they're heading. We kind of guessed that back in the day, that DayZ was sort of funding the creation of this Infusion engine.
Oh, definitely. DayZ's been funding them for a while. But with the DayZ 2, they've definitely got to also push to the max. So if we're looking at at least probably another year before we see Armor 4, maybe say 5 years before, let's say 5 years for a DayZ 2 announcement. That's an announcement, not a release.
Yep.
By then, that engine's going to be pushing on a little bit. It's going to be getting on in the years, and they've got to be able to show something for DayZ 2. I know a lot of people are going to buy it anyway. I'll buy it just because it's DayZ and DayZ 2 and all that. I still buy Bohemia's games and still
I don't think they can
channel.
afford to make a mistake and I say this with full respect, Septic, but they can't afford to make a mistake like they did with DayZ.
Oh, that's what I mean. They've really got to show themselves with it if they're going to do it too. They really got to really push the engine to the max, really show us something new, detail. It's got to be ultra immersion compared to DayZ. It's got to work. And cars have got to work out the gate. You can't.
Oh my God, you're an optimist. You're an optimist.
If it's not going to work, don't mention it and don't put them in.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I just got to keep chuckling to myself about the car comment. Did it work now? Did he really though?
I did notice they did another fix.
For the most part, they do. Like I very rarely have issues. Sometimes I get the thing where the car starts bouncing a bit. I stop the car, I turn it off, I get out, I get back in, and it works fine. But the Septic, I know we meme on it, but from what they were back in the day to what they are now, they are fucking so much better nowadays, aren't they? The main issue
Oh, yeah.
comes from when you get onto a server, which is one of these high loot McMansion servers, and you hit a base bubble and the car fucking. And I don't think there's really anything they can do with the engine the way it is. To it's a fucking it's a spaghetti coated engine, a mix of infusion, a mix of the old Armor 2 engine. Fucking, they're not going to be able to make them any better than they are really at the moment. Maybe a bit better, but yeah.
It's weird though, because the legacy real virtuality engine or virtual reality engine, whatever it was called, the vehicles worked okay for the most part. They had a bit of desync, but they weren't as bad as standalone. So it must have been where they kind of
I think it's that spaghetti code,
yeah, the two engines. It kind of
because vehicles came around the time that they did that in amalgamation, when they realized, wasn't it about 2015ish? Because from memory, Septic, and this is why it's great having you on, because you're more of a DayZ historian than I am, but it was around that point where they realized that what Dean and the team wanted, they couldn't do with the Armor 2 engine. So that was when, my understanding is, when the development of Infusion, maybe it had already been going on in the background, but they incorporated that into DayZ. They needed something to do more.
If I remember, without going through and looking, about 2015, they wanted the lighting to be more realistic, and so you could actually use glow sticks, and indoor outdoor was going to be more realistic and have that your eyes adjust when you went in and outside, and that's where they started showcasing the lighting changes between the Infusion renderer, because it's only the renderer that is using, not the actual base. It's still well, it's technically Legacy 2.5, which is the take on helicopters engine, mixed with the Infusion renderer, which is it's just the lighting side of things, and the graphical side of things, where it pushes across.
This is how bad they were back in the day, folks. I've got this video up. It's one that I recorded. you just don't really see this sort of stuff anymore. I'll play that again for those who missed it. But it can still happen. But this was just, from bumping into random objects. Don't.
Yeah, I got videos like that where we've got the golf, and was it the golf, or it might have been that, and it when the server restarted, it went inside a tree. So we went to chop the tree down to get the truck out of the tree, and then the truck killed all of us. There was like 5 of us stood around it, and it just span around and did a tornado and killed every single one of us stood there.
I think this is from around the time when they first introduced the car tents, and I wanted to see if I could get the truck in there, and yeah, that happened. Boom, off I go flying in a different direction. I should be happy that I didn't go flying as high as some of them back in the day, Septic. But yeah, you very rarely see that sort of stuff now. I've seen the videos where someone, again, it's usually always on the high loot service, where they've got 1,000 bloody 10,000 fucking items all in one small area, and it just causes too many issues with the game. And
if you go on like a 30 slot vanilla server that's not a shit server, like provider, that they're actually decent connection, you won't have an issue. But if you go on a 60, 70 plus slot server that's got mods on it, then you're gonna run into issues. A full server, that is.
Yeah, I played on a server last week. Did about 4 hours on there. 3 hours of it was pretty much driving in convoy with 2 cars, and it was almost flawless. We didn't really have any problems. It's usually when the server's heavily modded. All the servers are potato, which I'm afraid does happen. Every now and then you get someone who gets, say, overly ambitious about their computer's performance, decides to set up their own server. And, the cars just don't work because it doesn't have the power and it can't keep up. But again, that's kind of core of the problem with it. You're allowing everybody to set their own server up. They can do whatever they want.
Again, with the vehicles, because like I said, with real virtuality, it was vehicles for the most part were fine. They did the rubber banding thing, and that was you didn't really get the over the top lightweight flips and stuff. So I'm wondering whether it's just the sheer amount of objects in DayZ now compared to Armor and DayZ mod. It wasn't the same. So I don't know if it's just their spawn the way the loot spawned everywhere and the economy and things as well is just making the lag, the server ping just so bad. The
But
server FPS, because I know
there are still some big issues though, Septic, with the vehicles though, because like the Humvee is a gutless piece of shit. I'm sorry, but it is a terribly fucking made car. Trying to get that thing to, it's meant to be the ultimate four-wheel drive. You take that thing off road and try to go up a hill because of that automatic gearbox where you can't even control the gears. It is shit. Have you driven it yet, Septic?
I don't think so. When I tried it, it didn't work when they first implemented it, I think.
And again, that was surprising to me. They implemented it and it was in such a bad state. I think the first one I tapped into a tree and it just destroyed it. It was like, really? Okay, that's confusing to me. I don't understand game dev. You may be able to justify why they released it the way they did, Septic, but to me, I was kind of horrified. It was like, it's a bit of an own goal to release it this bad. But even now, it's still it performs a lot better, but it's still gutless when you get it off road and you're trying to get up hills and that.
Kirk made a good point. I forgot they added the new physics engine, didn't they, and suspension stuff to the cars, so that might be a big problem as well. Because you said the Armor 2 was like more of a box with no real suspension kind of simulation and things, and they added all that to the vehicles quite a while ago, DayZ, and maybe that's a big issue with the ping and that, and then the suspension goes wild, and that's when your car flips over.
Wobo just did a video not that long ago about that, didn't he? Showing the hitbox and how it projects out the front of the car, and I think that's using some of the tools that DeOne's made for him and stuff like that. But that was very interesting to see just how the game, the code behind how vehicles work, and that they're constantly throwing the box out in the front of them, and that actually made a lot of sense to me. But it was still a bit disappointing to see them. Trucks are a bit better now, but we still don't have the passenger cargo truck back, or even the party bus, Septic, which is very disappointing.
Good times with the party bus back in the day. Even though it lagged out and killed a lot of people, but it was good fun.
That was part of the fun of it. And
and that was before we played DayZ.
It's able to be there. There's mods that have got it. There's a server I play on that some of you may have heard of, DayZ Down Under. Great server here. It's a bit of a meme. I'm always talking about that server, Septic, but they've got a bus, and there's a faction that basically gets the bus and keeps it going. And every Saturday night they have the party bus night, and people just get together, glow sticks and smoke grenades, and just drive around the map, and shenanigans ensue.
Been there, done that.
The party bus it's to a good community. The party bus it's almost one of the most iconic things about DayZ and DayZ Standalone, isn't it, Septic?
Yeah, I think I got videos, 10 years ago in the party bus. Jesus Christ.
Rag in chat would be a good person to talk about vehicles, because he's got some amazing stuff in that area as well. Like he just released, probably a good time to showcase it. If I did it last week, I don't care. I'm doing it again. This is the scope of what they could be doing with DayZ, Septic, and they don't. It frustrates me at times. You know how they've got the workshop that's sometimes attached to the petrol stations, Septic?
Yep.
I remember back in the day, Brian Hicks hinted. Remember when they took the long range scope off of the? You know where I'm going with this. You picked up on this as well. Brian Hicks made a statement at the time that, because everyone was crying, literally crying, that the Mosin lost its long range scope. It was the iconic weapon, a Mosin with the Atlas bipod and a long range scope. That was the sniping weapon of choice back in the day, wasn't it, Septic? And then they took it off, and everyone was like, "What the hell?" And Brian Hicks made this comment, that kind of cryptic comment, but he said, it won't be just as simple as slapping a scope on. And to me, I always read that as maybe that workshop's actually going to be something, because it's got various things in there, vices and things like that, that maybe that was going to be something you could interact with and you could modify and then attach a scope to, but they never did. But there's so many little things. Let me see if I could find it.
Well, they actually was supposed to be a working workshop that you could craft in. but
There
it
you go.
never comes to
You've
fruition.
heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, crafting was supposed to be a thing, but it was never implemented.
Same as soft skills, which technically still aren't a thing,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
Pretty much not a thing, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of the modding community has started to make things like crafting and whatnot, but it's not never going to be, but it's certainly not at the level that it was ever intended to be. It was intended to be a fixed thing with things like the little workshop and whatnot. Whereas a lot of crafting now is mod based specifically to the server, and a lot of it's just combining an item with an item.
Yeah, I think they were going to go the Zomboid direction, but a lot lighter, where you could read and get more intelligent and craft better items, but not so sophisticated. It would be a lot simpler. Like the more you'd run, the lot bigger your stamina would get, you get fitter, kind of thing.
Yeah, the longer you were alive and the more you did, the more you'd be able to create.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the line that they went down, but I don't think it was because it was too complicated. I just think they had too many other things that.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of things they said. Hence the drama when they didn't meet their requirements and stuff back in the day, and everybody kind of kicked off big time. Oh, it's a classic,
isn't it? Isn't it? I was at that PAX when he released it, and yeah. So I don't know whether you've seen this, Septic, but this is something that I would have loved to have seen in the game. As I've said this many a time, and I'll keep it harping about it. We need more organic POIs, and things that you aren't like say like a chopper crash, which is going to really attract people, but something that I've got a broken car and I need to fix it. I'm going to need to go to a mechanic station. Now he's created this working basically car lift, and it is brilliant. Watch this.
Oh, I like the car on the picture.
Yeah. Oh, he's done it. He's made it. So I suggested this. He probably already had the idea, so I'm not claiming credit for it, but I'm so happy he's done this. So you need to have a power supply to make it work. That's brilliant.
I love that lamp.
Same.
Such a good mod.
I love it. Love it. Scanned vehicle. That's brilliant.
That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
No damage detected. You are good.
I need
to
one
go.
of them at my house.
And that'll actually pick the damage up.
Damage detected. Maybe you should stick to the road next time. Vehicle successfully repaired.
Okay, that's cool.
See now, I'm gonna make another suggestion. I think you should have to attach the items to enable the repair. Maybe, we've only got nails and sheet metal in the game, vanilla, but it's his mod. He could maybe add glass panels and things like that. So you've got to have the relevant items to repair it. But that is just
Even
gold tier.
Materials to make the items. That's still cool, though. Yeah,
that would be cool, especially for our peers.
But just imagine that as an organic POI on a vanilla map. That those workshops actually worked, and you look in them, and they've got maybe the height's not there, but definitely the workshops where around the bus stations and things like that. There was one of those in there, and you had to get a generator and take the generator there to attach it to power it up. That would be such a cool organic POI septic, and that's something I've always felt that they've missed the opportunity with DayZ. Is pretty much the only POIs are really PDs, hospitals, military bases, chopper crashes, and then depending on what you're doing, you might go to castles to get yourself a sniper or some cool hunting gear and the hunting camps and that. But there's not really a lot of good POIs, is there, Septic?
Yeah, well, it's the fact that it's not really changed over the years. It's the same stuff for the last nearly 10 years. It's not.
But the modding community
the same
is
with
doing
anything,
it.
really.
The modding community
yeah, the modding
is doing
community are
it.
doing it.
Namolsk has got it. Lantia. I still haven't been there. Just I'm not good enough to fucking find all that gear, and I don't have that much time.
Yeah, I'm not. I tried so many times, and I've died as I get.
Once.
I got through the first portal into the thingy with all the machinery and stuff. The first orb, and got through there with Adam, and we shot each other in the face. So we weren't there long. That was the only time we got through.
Yep. But it adds a capacity that you could have a basic item which can repair something from badly damaged to damaged, or maybe to worn. But if you want to go the full, and the same with the guns, you can use a weapon cleaning kit to restore it to worn or whatever. But if you want to, if you've got an SVD and that there's bugger all along the map, you want to get it to pristine, then you need to go to a military base where they're going to have a workshop, an armorer's workshop, and take a generator, power up the generator, and you can restore that weapon to pristine condition. Give people more things to do in the that's what I think they need to be looking at for the future of DayZ. Is giving you more things to do than just run around and kill. And obviously those servers are always going to be the most popular. But for the base vanilla game, that'd be great stuff to see added to it. Septic. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, more options. Usually better if they give the players more options. There's more enjoyment to have, and it's always something I've said, like with the maps as well. Like I don't know, maybe they are just holding all their cards close to the chest until DayZ 2. But
well, they definitely do. They're definitely good at that.
Yeah, will that be too late though? I don't know. Will people be like, "Fuck this, I'm out"?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, we're 10 years in. We're 10 years in. Are people going to wait another half a decade?
Unless Armor 4 gives people enough, attention for modding and the community to learn the full infusion proper after Reforger, that they're like, oh shit, yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this. And
but are they then going to
I don't know.
lose the love for DayZ? I mean, it's not going to take more
Yeah,
than
it could go
years
either
for
way.
people to lose the love for DayZ if they're constantly playing Armor.
Like this, well, yeah, it's not impossible because I'm not necessarily lost my love for it, but I think it's a bit of like burnt out. I'm a bit burnt out because I played for over 10 years with mods and things, and it's just I think it was 2010-ish, late 2010. I think I started.
Yep.
When mod first come out. Yeah, it's just I was burnt out. 10 years of constantly making content, constantly only playing DayZ. I mean, I veered off with Miscreated and a few other games, but primarily I was DayZ for 6 to 12 hours a day, every day, streaming it, making content on it at night when I weren't streaming it. So I'm like, for me, I've not played for over a year. It's got to be a year and a half now, and I still haven't got the urge to go back on. Though I do miss Namalsk. I bloody miss Namalsk. Just the atmosphere and the music and everything for Namalsk just floods me with memories. But it's it's a weird thing. Though I wouldn't say I've stopped loving DayZ, because like I said, it's given me all the opportunities it has and the people I know. is all because of DayZ. So it'll never be not a massive part of me. It'll always be there, and I'll never forget DayZ. And especially at
DayZ is one
DayZ
of
2,
those
I'll be all
games.
over it.
DayZ is one of those
Yeah.
games that, yeah, it is. I've made this joke many a time, but it is the ultimate zombie game. It just won't die. There's just something about it. You know, there's a lot of people who are on the other extreme. They can't stand the game because they feel it, let them down when DayZ Standalone was released and it ruined what the mod was. And I get where they're coming from. I don't agree with it, but
Yep.
I get it. But there's a certain beauty to the game that is DayZ, and you can put it into the same ballpark as games like Minecraft, Counter-Strike. These games that just they were great. They were groundbreaking for their genre, and they will forever be something special to a lot of people. We may drift away from it from time to time, but it's a game that'll always suck you back in, and yeah.
Oh yeah, I always keep my tabs on it and keep up to date as much as I can, and in passing and stuff. Always check out the tweets feeds and pictures and what the developers share, and I always check it because I have a few servers still, so we're always Hepsky runs them mostly, and Kirk manages them with me, and we're constantly updating the mods. So it's like I'm still kind of in the loop. We kind of know, the good popular mods, and I think I was the first person to run the AI when it first came out with expansion and things. So it was we're still running the AI on our servers, and Hepsky's been tweaking and playing with them because I think they added behavior, if I remember rightly. Hepsky manages all that. I don't really know, but it's they're a lot better than they used to be. I know AI, so a
Guys,
lot more customizable.
we are coming up on 3 hours, so I think we should start wrapping it up, because this has been from your game to having a very, very good chat with yourself about just the legacy of DayZ, because you've been here from the start. 1 second, just replying to a text from the missus.
It's been my pleasure, as always.
Was there anything you wanted to shout out in the modding community, Dave, in the last couple of weeks?
Well, as you know, the modding community has been in a bit of
disarray,
up and down. Let's just say, yeah, disarray is a great word for it. It's been in real disarray. But a lot of the smaller people and a lot of the people that like to mess around and do those fun little things we find interesting have still been continuing. I do know that Dab, who almost quit the community, which would have been an absolute disaster time I had, has been playing around. He's made explosive crossbow bolts for us.
I saw that.
Absolutely. you can't help but laugh at explosive crossbow bolts. There are teddy bear IEDs coming, where you can make an improvised explosive device from a teddy bear. You can also detonate. You can also pre-detonate it and hand it to someone, and in their inventory, it will still look like a teddy bear.
Sorry, I've just
about 30 seconds later.
I've just got the clip up from Dab, so you could see it.
And I absolutely loved this when I saw this. This is such a hilarious idea. You shoot someone with a crossbow, it takes all about damage, and then poof.
It's brilliant. I love little things like that myself, Falcon. You?
Yeah, I love that. Dabs is super talented again. He's another. He knows his stuff.
Oh, he really does. And little ideas like that, that's a it's got a flash detonator on it. It's gonna detonate.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Little things like that, they're incredibly fun, and it's a modder having a little bit of fun.
Yeah,
which
is important to do to keep the passion.
Yes. If it's all work and no play, it's not worth it anymore. And a lot of the modern community was melting down because it was getting to the point of all work and no play. No one was having any time to make some, to have fun. We're getting near the end of our developments, and now all of this is broken, and we've got to redo it again. And yeah, But the few things that I've seen that have put a little bit of a smile on my face while everything was going to turd, essentially. Yep, still making explosive crossbows and teddy bears that explode, Just thought I'd shine a little bit of light on there and say it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It has been doom and gloom this last couple of weeks, but it's not all doom and gloom.
Obviously, a big shout out to you, Septic. You are a goat of the DayZ modding community, and just having you on is always a pleasure. Again, but someone I want to give a quick shout out to is a guest that we've got coming on, and I know a lot of people aren't going to recognize the name, and he was in chat. Let me just find his video. Second. There it is.
Are slightly see-through. Or let me actually lower the place and rebuild it. Nothing looks out of place because everything you.
I'm going to share this video, but basically what he's done is he's created a mod that utilizes the assets in the game, which I've got to imagine, and you two being more technically minded, would have to create less strain on the servers. But and it's everything from you could build sandbag walls.
Is in the vanilla game. We have those corners here. Those are the left corners, there are the right corners. I've basically just put multiple of those to make a semi-round wall here. We have those razor wires, they're placeable as well. So are the parking signs. There are actually 3 different kind of signs. There is attention signs. Wait, let me actually spawn those.
So I'm going to skip it forward because the other one I wanted to show you guys was the storage items. He's
It doesn't look like it can hold that much, but I think it's magic. Those bench axe, which means a fire axe or a wood axe.
There's the workbench.
Sledgehammer, screwdriver, pliers, a hacksaw, handsaw, 3 hatchets, and 3 hammers, as well as some inventory space for nails.
I mean, obviously,
it doesn't look like
it's a mod in its own right, but it's still utilizing the original PTD and PAA. So the game will find it easier.
Here, as you see, they're a little bit
so yeah, it would technically increase performance compared to other base storage items.
There's so much stuff in this mod that P server, you take
cash register,
hand him the stuff.
I'd be debating how much.
To a degree, it would depend on the script as well.
I'd debate how much, depending on how the mod has been built, and depending on how many items are actually stored within there as well, within a certain area, because you're still going to have that cluster problem of items stored.
Yeah, if you're going to overdo it with a cluster of loot or the scripts written in a particular way for the mod, then yeah, you're going to have
the thing I like the
issues
most
regardless.
is compared to a lot of the other mods. There's been some great mods out there, and I'm not throwing shade at anyone, but you said the word before, Septic Falcon, immersion. And when you're able to use assets that are in the game, it's much more immersive because it looks, some of the storage mods I've seen, the stuff looks like it's a fresh pack straight out of IKEA. Whereas I'm pretty sure he's got the wardrobes. If I go back to the actual mod,
I mean, I will say for like if you did an apartment base, for example, and having those items in there, you wouldn't think that they're storage items. You might actually genuinely walk past those items without ever realizing they've got loot in them. That's a nice, clever idea. It could possibly increase server performance if done correctly. But definitely for immersion.
Well, look,
10 out of
we've got Bishop coming on in a couple of weeks' time, so we're going to be able to get to talk more about this. But I definitely wanted to showcase this mod because I had my dream a while back of doing a realistic storage mod. Well, this guy's already done it. This is better than what I thought of, because he rather than reinventing the wheel, he's just used the existing assets and made it in a way that you can utilize them as it's brilliant. I can't wait to get him on to showcase this in all its glory, because I'm like you, Septic. I love my immersion.
Oh yeah, love a bit of immersion. But didn't they? Because we were supposed to have a lot more interactable items by default in DayZ. What happened to the fridges?
Yes, and if you remember, the wardrobes, the wardrobes used to have a bit of storage as well, but that disappeared very quick, didn't it? That didn't last long at all.
People forgot about that, didn't they?
It's good to see someone bringing it back.
Now they're a mod.
Yeah.
Same with the fridge. It's a mod. It's there in the base files. It doesn't work. It's not that hard to pull it out and make it work.
And he's got other stuff as well, and that's not just his one mod. He's got a few other things there. Bishop's admin gear expanded, and I was very impressed when I saw that. So I can't wait to get Bishop on 2 weeks' time. I wanted to give him a bit of a shout out because he's probably a name that, like you were talking about, Dave. There's a lot of small guys out there who we're losing some, the brain drain. But we've still got people coming in because, believe it or not, a game like this has been around so fucking long, Septic Falcon, that there are kids who have never heard of DayZ. And they're like, what is this game? Oh my God, it's still groundbreaking because there's not a lot of games like it, ambitious enough to try it. And those that are trying it, they're struggling fucking hard, aren't they, Septic? There's a lot of Dead Matter, fucking Scum. Scum's probably doing the best out of any of the other similar style games.
I think Scum's having a bit of a resurgence at the moment. It's really turned around where they were heading.
Yeah, we can't forget Rust, even though I don't really consider it a hardcore survival game, but that's only because the only exposure I've had to Rust is Stimpy. But
yeah, I got beat last time I tried that. I got beat up by a bunch of 12-year-olds. So.
Did they tell you how well they know your mum?
Yeah, all of those.
Yeah.
I'm done with this game. Uninstalled it. They hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
that and the graphics.
I know they didn't hurt your feelings, mate. You are so far from a fucking snowflake. But yeah, you would have laughed your ass off and gone, I can't deal with this, though. I can't deal with this. I'm out of here. Good luck, kids. Have fun. But yeah. No, so very excited to get him on. Septic, what about yourself, mate? What's something, can be DayZ related, can be anything else. What's something you would like to shout out, mate? Bring people's awareness to. Other than your game, of course.
Yeah, we'll just keep it DayZ related. Just hope the DayZ modding community keeps working hard, pumping out mods, and hopefully everything goes smoothly and they don't get pushed away and get bored of DayZ and keep soldiering on with Armor 4 and get prepared for the potential DayZ 2 in the future. So it'd be exciting to see everybody familiar names again working in the future. So I'll be around still.
It's been great seeing some old names popping up, seeing Mr. Blackout streaming, the Loyal Patriot streaming, Katie Wolf even streaming it. It's been great seeing some of those OG names poking their heads back in, and we're still around. I don't think anything will ever capture the magic of that 2012 to 2015 period for me, Septic, but it's still great to see those names coming back and enjoying the game again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think on that note, a phrase that I can't remember who said it. They said it a couple of weeks ago, and it just sort of stuck in my head. Thank a modder.
Please do. Adopt the modder. Our catchphrase here is adopt the modder. Check the mods that you love, the ones that really stand out to you. Look and see if they've got a Patreon or a PayPal or something. You even just saying thank you and sharing it like we're doing here is great, but a few bucks here and there is always a great way to show your appreciation. It means a lot to someone that you thought enough of the work they did to buy them a coffee, buy them a beer, buy them a pizza, buy them fucking, some of them are even just asking for contributions towards assets. As Septic, you're probably very well aware the costs for your game design. You mentioned before you've got some plugins and it's not cheap, but even modding is expensive, isn't it, Septic?
Oh yeah, it can be. If you don't know what you're doing, I've always kind of tried to do my own thing. Like I said, when I did the DayZ modding stuff, I kind of learned it myself and did it myself, the texture work and all that. But it's not always the case, especially if you want something unique with your mod, and it's a totally unique thing that DayZ doesn't have. You're going to need some talent to make that. If it's a custom model or anything like that, and yeah, it's going to cost a bit, even if you get whether you buy the asset somewhere or sometimes you're lucky enough to get them for free off of
We're gonna run over the bear with
the websites that you can get them from. Forget what they're called at the moment. It's late here, so I'm forgetting to breathe at the moment. So it's
crab and whatnot, yeah.
But yeah, or yeah, paying somebody to do it for you and making you custom stuff. There's always a cost somewhere when you're making things like that.
I've got one last thing to share with you all. This has been fixed, so don't try this yourself. But one of my favorite YouTubers and content creators for DayZ, Geckofish. I love this guy. He is so underrated, so unsubscribed, so unappreciated. He is so funny. His voice alone makes me laugh. I just love the way he talks, but you have to watch this.
Bye.
Rings the bell first as well.
And that just got us demonetized, but I don't care. It is so worth it. Of course, it would be him who would try to run over a bear on a bicycle. But yeah, they have apparently that's been patched. Hey, thank you, Jeff, for the raid there, buddy. But yeah, apparently that's been patched. It does nowhere near enough damage to kill a bear now. So please don't try that in your own time. You will end up as bear food. But yeah, thank you all so much. Septic, you're god tier, mate. I'm so blown away by what you and the team have worked on with that game. Literally, you caught me by surprise with just how good it is looking.
Thank you. It genuinely does mean a lot.
And when you're getting someone like the Road to Vostok commenting and saying they're impressed as well, you know, he's set a high standard himself.
Oh yeah,
what he's working
I'm
on.
impressed.
And
Can't wait to play.
Yeah, I've enjoyed playing his playable dev, which anyone can play, by the way. Go check out Road to Vostok in the Steam Workshop. He's got a fully playable beta, alpha, and you can get in there and check it out. It's looking really, really good. Single player game, so different in that aspect, but there's still room for that. You know, the other one that I always love to talk about, The Long Dark, showed there is still an appetite for well-made single player games in the survival genre. Because sometimes you just don't want to deal with those people who know your mum, do you, Septic?
No. Well, I just make an AI that says it. I'll have a 12-year-old AI that runs up and goes, "Your mum stinks," and runs off.
A DLC you can purchase. You know, are you missing? By the N words and the R words and all the rest of it. The sort of stuff.
Not give the DayZ modding community ideas, please.
We'll call it the COD Lobby DLC. But yeah, Septic, a pleasure and an honor as always, mate, to have you on the show. DayZ royalty right here, ladies and gentlemen. We're very privileged to have had 3+ hours of this very important man's time. I cannot thank you enough, my man.
Oh, thank you. It means a lot. And thank you for everybody who listened to me. It's been a pleasure.
I think everyone was impressed, mate.
I think everyone's impressed. I mean, personally, I'm flipping blown away. I wasn't expecting that. I've got to be honest. I'm always honest. I was not expecting that level of quality. That looks really good.
Did you expect like a 2D game to pop up, so like Mario on the
I kind of expected, like, you know, well, here it is. I've got 15 minutes I can show you. You know, it's 3 months is 15 minutes. I'm impressed, really impressed.
We got nothing to hide. We show everything.
Love it, mate. All the best. Next week's guest, ladies and gentlemen, we have. I should have known this off the top of my head, but I'm old. I forget shit. Just check the guest list dates. Next week we have Bragg Tyson coming on the show to talk about his modding and modding in general. And we've had Rag on before, but he's a great guest. I had a really good chat with him in Discord the other day until I had to run because two dogs were fighting outside and scared the crap out of the missus. But yeah, he's an amazing modder as well. One of the ones that we're very blessed to have in the community, who keeps things chugging along with some really cool ideas. So yeah, all the best, everyone. Septic, once again, thank you so much, my man. All the best and good luck with your project. Don't forget, links again in the chat, folks. Go check out the website, their Discord group, and if you've got a few bucks spare, I'm sure him and the team would appreciate some Patreon love as well. All the best, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Night.
Bye-bye.
There's nothing to fear if you try. If you keep believing, like rain falling soft